Mentors aren't warriors, so he chose a quiet life until everything changed. Thinking of his peaceful past, the boy brandished a homemade weapon as the massive orc roared to attack. I remember a man and woman begging your forgiveness for leaving him behind. The couple left, leaving a long shadow. They explained old things wouldn't help in future battles. The man said goodbye to Ryu, asking him to stay and care for the animals. The boy reaches out, asking why they did it. Helplessly, he begs them to stop and wait, he can fight too. He snaps awake, arm outstretched, as blinding sunlight floods the room and ends his sleep. Memories were just a dream. Ryu lives in the mountains tending to his farm animals. The boy fed the animals. Suddenly the cow he just fed rubbed against him. He liked it, stroking their chins. Then Ryu called. Holding her cat, the girl approaches Ryu and thanks him for its recovery. Girl approaches, boy pets their heads. He's happy her pet recovered. She notes he still heals animals despite being a mentor. He smiles back, hiding his confusion over a role he never wanted. The church assigns jobs. He's a mentor who bonds with animals while his friends became a hero and a mage. To become a true hero, she studied the knight's path and pushed her training even harder. The mage learned support magic at the church, and once we grew up, the three of us set out. Ryu worries he's falling behind his friends until a girl with a cat distracts him. She's mad he zoned out, ignoring her. He snaps back, apologizing, then asks the guest what they discussed and where they left off. She reminds him of city rumors. His friend returns soon. The boy yawns tired. He decides to rest, stretching among the trees. Wind ruffles his hair. Ryu couldn't imagine friends returning after that dream. Ryu realized they were once inseparable, but now he was alone. His job helped him bond with the city's cats and dogs, caring for them every day. The boy dreams of conquering Fenrir, hoping to walk with his friends, but this dream is impossible. A growl erupts from the bushes behind Ryu. He thought he was alone, so he parts the leaves and calls out. His eyes widen as he spots smooth fur. A wolf sits in the bushes, staring him down. Ryu stared at the beautiful wolf, marveling, until he suddenly saw its hind leg caught in a trap. Iron spikes pierced the wolf's paw. Ryu rushed over, telling him to hold on while he helped. The wolf snarled, clearly displeased with the support. Ryu reached out, the wolf bit his hand hard. Ryu yanked his hand free and pinned the thrashing wolf by the scruff, telling it to calm down as he pried the trap off its leg. The wolf eyes the boy. Ryu asks to wait, he has a potion ready. The wolf waits, intently watching the boy search his backpack. The boy pours potion on the animal's leg, promising it'll be running again soon. Ryu stood up for work. He turned, but the animals had vanished. Smiling, he headed home. The night was pitch black, and without a single lantern, only the moon and stars lit the way. Ryu couldn't sleep, wondering if the wolf found its pack, glad he'd helped the beast. The boy yawns and covers his mouth, realizing it's finally time for bed. A wolf bursts in, looming over the boy with jaws wide to give a friendly greeting about the beautiful night. Ryu turns in horror, repeating his words to the creature. He realizes it's the wolf he saved earlier, and as the truth dawns, he notices the wolf can talk. The boy sits on the bed, thinking it's no wolf but a monster because it understands and speaks human language. While the boy processed, the monster paced, demanding answers. The boy agreed to listen, promising answers if possible. The wolf, surprised, tells the boy he's honest. Ryu looks away, agreeing, knowing one wrong move means instant death from its sharp jaws. The animal tilts its head as the wolf asks why Ryu wasted his potion to help. Confused, Ryu struggles for an answer. He can't say he only wanted to help, no one would believe him. If he lies, everything could be revealed. Suddenly, the she-wolf demanded the boy respond now, impatient for Ryu's thoughts. The boy awkwardly admitted he helped the she-wolf because he finds her beautiful. His words shocked the she-wolf. She never expected that. He didn't want her beauty to just vanish. The she-wolf laughs, finally realizing the boy freed her from the trap just to save her life. She paws her nose, calling the boy interesting. She was only playing, but he jumped in to help. The boy exhales, looks away. He knows she needs no help now. The she-wolf returns, now hooked on Ryu. She confesses her feelings and asks for his name. He hesitates, but she calms his fear and he finally reveals it. The she-wolf repeats his rare name and claims him as hers, refusing to take no for an answer. The boy misunderstood the she-wolf's hint, thinking he heard wrong, but she quickly confirmed he heard correctly. She declared Ryu her pet, leaving him stunned and asking if she meant him. The she-wolf grew massive, her head bursting through the ceiling, scattering wooden debris. She called Ray, then snatched the boy in her jaws. Ryu realizes the wolf talks and grows, certain it's Fenrir. He asks her, but she's shocked he only just noticed. The boy asked for a bag. Soon they reached the forest. The Fenrir girl announced their arrival, then threw him down. Ryu remembers sprinting through the forest on pause. It was a nightmare, trapped in the beast's jaws the whole way. He looks up, tree crowns completely cover the sky, bright sun hitting his eyes as he sees this wonder for the first time. Trapped in a pit below a Fenrir, the pack surrounded the hill and watched him closely. On the hill, a boy watched Fenrir and Ryu approach, then froze as a Fenrir pack appeared. A pack of 20-30 Fenrirs appeared, one massive central Fenrir he knew was the alpha. Ryu trembles, terrified he won't make it out of this forest alive. Suddenly Fenrir, the leader, turns to his daughter and asks who she brought home. Ryu learns his savior is the pack leader's daughter, who brought him back simply because she liked him. Father scolds his daughter. This isn't a reason to drag someone into their pack and forest. The leader snaps, demanding to know how he knows her daughter. The boy claims he's a rancher. The leader asks again, so Ryu explains he just rescued the man's trapped daughter. Fenrir's leader bragged his pack could crush any trap, but Ryu realized his daughter was only playing with them. Leader's furious she got the assignment again. Daughter tells her father her guest's a mentor, or so she claims. Maybe Ryu can help their grandfather. Wolf turns to the boy asking if it's true. The pack leader looks away, stating grandfather lived long and no one can solve this. The daughter whispers to Ryu her grandfather's condition worsened from lack of magic. She blames herself. The boy senses an ally won't escape, realizing he's only being used. The boy returns to the leader, and Ryu tells him to stop scolding his child. Ryu demands to meet his grandfather. With no time left, Fenrir has nothing to lose. The leader abruptly silences the boy. He retorts he's here to help his own. Rhea says if the problem is age, he's useless, but for anything else, he'll find a fix, shocking the chief's daughter. The leader agrees, letting the boy see the elder while calling it a total waste of time. They approach the tree roots. Between them, an ancient Fenrir rests on a sofa. His granddaughter greets her grandpa with deep respect. The old Fenrir opens his eyes and asks why a man is there. The girl tries to explain, but the boy silences her with a wave. Ryu reaches out, and the elder welcomes him warmly. Ryu reveals the elder's granddaughter brought him. He's a mentor here to cure Fenrir's illness. Elder Fenrir eyes the boy distrustfully, asks his job and doubts his help. But Ryu claims it's possible. He won't do it for free after that. The Fenrirs were stunned, unable to hide their shock. Angry shouts erupted. No one treats a leader like that. They suspected he was tricking Fenrir. The old man approached the boy, asking if he could help. The boy agreed, staring intently, never averting his gaze. Fenrir agreed, believing in the boy. Ryu placed his hand on his chest, promising they'd finish this fast. Reap's favor, Henry must make him stronger. Henry asks why Reap wants such power, and Reap replies he's like his grandson. The boy explains she relied on him, unable to heal her grandfather herself or even imagine how, so she turned to the man. He won't upset his loved ones again. Then he remembers his two friends and his outstretched hand. The Fenrir girl was stunned. The elder accepted the deal, demanding his name and his price. The boy simply took off his glove. Your forearms closer to Fenrir, he commanded, bite and drink his blood. The leader called it nonsense, refusing to believe ordinary blood could change anything. Ignoring the complaints, the elder agreed. He stood, grabbed the boy's hand and bit it. Dust and light exploded, forcing the Fenrir squad to grab the ground or be blown away. The elder's face twists as Ryu crushes his hand, forcing him to let go. Ryu stares at his palm, shocked by the searing pain as the girl watches in awe. She's curious where the mentor gets his power. He reads her mind. She believes Ryu's magic outpowers the hero. Ryu explains his frequent arm bandages are the reason. Ryu has too much magical power. Unreleased, he'll explode. She warns him that if he's too strong and fails, it'll end in disaster. Ryu says training builds strength, but he was born powerful. He grows stronger with age, a true treasure. She turns back to her grandfather, now bursting with strength. Fenrir wags his tail, looking unrecognizable as everyone notices he's finally healing. The granddaughter approaches her grandfather, nuzzling his head. He recalls his agreement with the boy, telling him to train with his pack to gain strength. Shocked, the boy asks if he can train in Fenrir Forest. Suddenly, an angry growl from behind forbids it. A human cannot join the pack. The elder thanks the boy, but outside, the Fenrir are screaming that he's weak, untrustworthy, and useless. Someone suggested killing the guy, but the elder silenced the pack, demanding to know if they'd really betray his savior. Everyone bowed and whined in fear. A crushing pressure hit Ryu. He was terrified, even though the force wasn't even aimed at him. Ryu asks the girl who her grandfather is. She reveals he's the first Fenrir ancestor of all. Elder asks what the boy wants first. He replies he wants to control magic above all. The elder knows this demands strength. In this forest, the boy must transform, grow stronger, and master his abilities. The boy gets it, he must face himself, but he doubts he can rejoin his friends. The boy finds his nerve and trusts the elder, earning a silent nod from him and the Fenrir girl. He mouths something, approaches, and gives it to the guy. A large fang juts from his arm. The elder claims the tusk, and the boy realizes he's holding the true tusk of Elder Fenrir. The elder explains this trophy helps Ryu control magic. Suddenly, a Fenrir girl runs to Ryu, offering to train him. Ryu grips the fang, telling his friends to wait while he gets stronger to catch up. Ryu dodges the strike, training hard with evil orcs in Fenrir Forest. The orc lunges wildly, saliva flying, but Ryu stays calm, ready after a month of training. Ryu grins as the goblin pounces, clubbing the guy. Orcs attack slowly, easily avoided. Ryu easily dodges the monster's heavy blow. Ryu slices off the orc's arm and the beast screams. He targets its legs next. If it falls, he can easily behead it. Boy wipes sweat, proud of his work. He turns, asking about Fenrir's girl. The creature sat on an orc pile, sweetly yawning, just waiting for Ryu to finish the monster. She noticed he'd been messing with an orc too long. The boy wonders how Fenrir handled so many orcs. He's incredible. Fenrir and Ryu stopped among the trees, lighting a small fire to roast juicy meat. Ryu knows orcs are weak monsters, but now he handles them easily. Fenrir encourages him, saying he's probably grown stronger. On day one, he just ran away. Ryu admits it. After a month of training, he still barely handles this monster. Ryu constantly fled Fenrir packs to build endurance, learning forest survival. The Fenrir girl always watched his training nearby. He eats poisonous berries again for immunity. To get stronger, he must adapt to anything. Ryu eyes the elder's gift, realizing he won because this massive tusk doubles as a knife. The Fenrir girl proudly confirmed his words, swearing her grandfather's incredible. Ryu's glad the elder's granddaughter is personally looking after him. Fenrir girl hangs her head, ears pinned back, upset she's still nameless. A monster's name is its soul, so naming one demands immense magic. When the elder named his granddaughter, he ran out of mana. Ryu stroked Fenrir's head, telling her not to worry. He smiled, promising the elder would name his granddaughter soon. She just had to be patient. He can't bear her sad face. The Fenrir girl looked at Ryu hopefully. A Fenrir burst from the bushes, calling for his mistress, the elder's granddaughter. She asked what happened. He replied with a message from the chief. Fenrir snarled at Ryu, nose twisting in disgust. The elder has training news and the boy must see the leader now. Ryu senses the pack's icy hostility. The elder waits by the tree. Ryu greets the old Fenrir and the leader praises his speed. Told to hurry and listen to the elder, the boy grinned and said to ignore his colleagues. Elder says Fenrir members find retraining pointless. He didn't grasp Fenrir's meaning, so he asked again. The elder sets a trial for Ryu. He must prove his strength to join the Fenrir pack. Terrified at first, the boy quickly found his nerve and asked how to join the pack. The elder gets serious. Fenrir orders Ryu to solo the demonic rooster as a test. The Class B demonic rooster wrecks entire teams. Fighting it solo is suicide. The elder's granddaughter appears behind the boy, asking her grandfather to help with the task. The elder explains the trial's essence. Ryu must defeat the monster himself. No one can help him. The elder saw Ryu hadn't realized Fenrir's fang's true power. Ryu stared at his trophy, astonished. Fenrir reveals the fangs destroy all, even magic. Ryu has the oldest Fenrir's fang. It helps him if he wishes. Fenrir smiles, claiming the demonic rooster is no threat, while a confused Ryu scratches his head. The elder says it's okay to be confused, but he must rest before his trial starts at sunset. Sun dips behind the mountain, bright rays on treetops fade. Suddenly the monster's paw slams the ground. The elder's granddaughter and Ryu peek from behind the bush, watching the monster. This massive demon rooster has a giant snake tail and preys on innocent animals. Suddenly, its eyes flash, blinding everything. The animal fleeing the monster squeaked its last as its body, from the hind legs, suddenly turned to stone. The demonic rooster crushed the sculpture into dust, and Ryu knew the odds were now against them. Its glance turns people to stone. Its gaze and tail are poisonous, but it's weak. It only sees a narrow path and can't fly. The granddaughter asks if he's okay, but Ryu rejects her help, claiming he has no choice. Boy crossed bushes, approached enemy. Fenrir's granddaughter wished him luck, warned him, be careful. The boy hid behind a tree from the monster, clutching the elder Fenrir's fang. Ryu knows hitting the demon rooster head-on is unwise, so he must first deal with the snake on his tail. The boy suddenly jumped forward and while the snake was not looking at him, prepared to strike. Ryu drops the snake in one hit. He's hyped to finally take down part of the beast. Ryu charged the monster's paws, aiming to cripple it fast. The demon rooster crowed and shoved Ryu back. He knew this wouldn't be easy. The rooster scans, losing Ryu, making Ryu suspect he's in the monster's blind spot. The boy lunges from the bushes to strike, but the rooster slips away. Ryu only understood when he looked up. The demonic rooster could fly, it soared high, spreading gigantic wings. He never thought the demonic rooster could fly, and now he's at the monster's mercy. The rooster spreads its wings wide as the boy waits for it to drop. Ryu has no time to think as the demonic rooster folds its wings, blasting him back through wood debris with a powerful wind. Granddaughter worriedly asks if he's okay. Ryu rises carefully, saying he's fine. This wind sliced trees into perfect pieces, proving dangerous. Ryu suspects the demonic rooster used magic. Ryu's stumped, the rooster refuses to budge. If only he had ranged magic, this would be easy. Ryu eyes the tusk, wondering if it hides a winning secret. Suddenly, he recalls magic. Ryu remembers the elder's warning, Fenrir's fangs destroy all, even magic. Now the boy holds Elder Fenrir's fang. This trophy is a major asset. He replays every detail of the demon rooster's aerial attack. The monster spreads its wings to strike again, but Ryu leaps in and dodges every blow. Doing nothing means staying broke. With no choice left, Ryu has to act. The boy stubbornly stands his ground and extends the Fenrir fang forward. Light appears around him. The elder's granddaughter notices that the boy has gained more mana. Ryu focuses her magic, channeling power through the claw, mana gathering at its tip. Suddenly, the demonic rooster strikes, leaving no time to rest. Mana accumulated, ready to unleash. Ryuz swung his fang, unleashing a powerful wave mirroring the monster's attacks. The strike smashed the rooster midair, sending its broken body crashing to the ground. Boy couldn't believe he won. He eyed the fallen monster. The elder's granddaughter ran from bushes, cheering his victory, thrilled he passed the trial. Ryu tried to speak but suddenly collapsed, making Fenrir instantly worry something was wrong. He's too weak to even stand anymore. Ryu apologizes for the Fenrir reception and asks to rest. The elder's granddaughter is stunned but agrees. The boy can't speak. He thinks he'll finally rest peacefully, then talk to the elder. Suddenly, a woman's hand touches his head. Eyelids stick, but a girl's faint silhouette appears. Ryu wonders who it is. He's alone. His mind overloaded, eyelids drooped. He yearned for sleep, instantly falling under. The girl next to you let her rest while the elder watched, praising the boy for finally joining the pack. After slaying the demon rooster, Fenrirs flocked to the boy, kids begged Ryu to play, and adults shared their hunting spoils. Ryu signals Fenrir to wait as the elder's granddaughter appears, noticing his growing bond with the beast. The boy says gang members won't leave him alone, but the elder's granddaughter finds this positive. He passed the test, earning their respect. The boy sees events favor him, but not all the pack likes the newcomer. Their leader watched him angrily from a tree. Suddenly, the pack leader is calmed by his wife. She places a heavy paw on Fenrir's head and reproaches her husband for setting a bad example for the children. Ryu checks the photo, relieved the mother wolf is close. He tells the granddaughter her mom is strict, but she reveals her mother ranks high in the pack. My mother's high status, she's the elder Fenrir's daughter. Ryu sees his torn sleeve, his clothes are trashed, he needs new gear from the city. The Fenrir girl asks why Ryu skips monster hides, but he admits he lacks the skills to sew. You need cash for clothes, so you're heading to the city. The mayor's granddaughter suggests asking her grandpa for help. Ryu agrees, heads to the elder, but midway, the leader appears and forbids Ryu from the city. Suspecting he'll snitch, the leader orders the elder to keep him trapped, leaving his wife devastated that he's back to his old habits. Ryu agrees the leader's right. If their location gets out, the pack's doomed. You ask for another route to the city. The granddaughter insists the boy needs a guide and the elder agrees it's safer. Grandma Fenrir asks her husband if their pack has a suitable candidate. The girl beams at her grandmother. His wife turns, asking if he distrusts the man so much. The elder sides with Fenrir and offers to introduce Ryu to the dwarf. Dwarves are skilled, strong. With the right materials, they sew anything. The elder knows a dwarf in the kingdom. Mentioning Fenrir's name guarantees his help, so Ryu smiles and thanks him. Fenrir's leader worried about the crowds to Ryu's city, so the elder sent his daughter with Ryu, shocking everyone. The old man knows his granddaughter must see the world. He trusts you and the boy is down with you joining her. Fenrir girl blushed, turning from Ryu. Her chief father forbade her from the world, especially with Ryu. His wife lightly slapped his chin. Mom asks what's wrong. Ryu treats her daughter well. Grandma silently observes, saying nothing. Ryu paused, struck by Fenrir's deep love. The elder scans the room and leaves. He's teaching the boy magic so he can sell materials for cash. Ryu's worry turns to joy, curious what awaits them. Grandma Fenrir asks Ryu if he remembers and brought it. Ryu confirms as his mother calms her husband, the Fenrir leader. The elder helped him master materials and treasury magic. Now he's off to the dwarf lands. Ryu asks where his friend is. Fenrir's grandmother asks him to wait longer, promising a great surprise. The elder thanks the boy for waiting. Beside him stands a beautiful wolf-eared girl, shyly watching for Ryu's reaction. Impressed, the boy immediately noticed her beauty, wondering where she came from. The girl covers her mouth, ears pressed to her head, and asks for his impressions again. Ryu's baffled. How does she know him, and why is her voice so familiar? Ryu recognizes her as the girl grips Grandma's paw, beaming as Grandma praises her for making her unrecognizable. Ryu remembers a girl from the demon rooster fight and suspects it was her. She reveals she's been training for years. She wanted to travel with Ryu, which started it all. She struggled with herself, but her mom and grandma's advice got her through. An old man appears and asks Ryu to name his granddaughter, leaving the boy shocked. Ryu asks the elder to let the boy contract his granddaughter. The elder agrees, trusting the boy can handle it. The guy must name her and sign a dating contract. It offers perks like sharing thoughts, making it a great deal for him. Grandma Fenrir tells Ryu not to worry, her granddaughter wants it too. Grandma says her granddaughter owes him, then asks his name. She explains their family, so she trusts him. His granddaughter agrees. The Fenrir girl bows, waiting for his answer. The boy signs Fenrir's contract, and the grandma happily thanks him. Ryu and the girl lock eyes. With the eagle's signal, she agrees and he touches her forehead. The boy thinks that now he needs to offer her a contract, and the girl agrees. After that, he has to give her a new name. A light begins to glow from his hand, highlighting all the features of the girl's face. As magic peaks, the boy whispers Lur. He opens his eyes, declaring it finished, while the girl turns away, repeating her new name. Ryu feared she'd hate the name Lur, even though it fit her perfectly. The girl smiles, closes her eyes, saying she likes her name and thanks the boy. He smiles with relief as Grandpa Fenrir approaches. The elder asks if it went well and the boy nods. Suddenly, Lur grabs Ryu's hand, begging to start their journey. Girl grabs the boy's hand, says goodbye to her grandparents and mother. Her distant father watches, satisfied she didn't say goodbye to him. They begin their journey. Lur marveled at the stunning mountains and delicious shashlik, but nothing beat falling asleep on his shoulder by the campfire. She asks about the gnome lands, and he describes a mining town where master craftsmen forge elite weapons and armor. Along with the gear info, he warns they're arriving soon. The guy asks Lyra if the girl is too close as she clings to his arm and presses against him. Ryu remembers Lur kept her distance in the forest. She explains she couldn't act like that among her relatives. She's been dying to flirt with a guy like him for ages. Ryu watches the girl, strokes her head, and wonders who spoiled her so much. The boy lands on unknown land. Ahead, a massive wall looms, its sheer size overwhelming. This is the place. She tells him to hurry, but he begs her to wait, demanding she transform into a she-wolf. Lur needs to know why he planned it. Ryu shows her the card. The girl doesn't have it. Show the card at the entrance. In human form, the liar's instantly recognized. As a wolf, he's just an animal, so no one asks for the card. The girl shifted into Fenrir. Relieved Lur didn't mind, the boy pushed on. The boy behind someone asked if this was the city entrance line. The group turns, seeing Ray was right. A freckled blonde asks if he's new here. Ryu agrees he'll sell monster materials, buy new clothes. The guy says this city's perfect, packed with skilled craftsmen. Guards ordered the man to move on. He bowed and introduced himself as Mac, a merchant who promised to see Ryu again. Ryu greets him warmly, then a knight at the window asks why he's entered the city. Ryu shows his card, explaining he only wanted to sell materials for new clothes. The knight asks if he's registered with the Merchants Guild. Ryu's not registered, he just planned to sell materials. The guard understands but cautiously asks to see his haul. Ryu lays out his gear for the guard. The man freezes, surprised, asking Ryu to wait. The young man discussed goods with someone. He returns, thanks you for waiting. Suddenly, an elegant man approaches, introducing himself as a guild employee. The serious man pulls Ryu into a stone room and offers to buy his skins. Ryu's stunned, but the man explains these rare, top-tier materials are impossible to find. The boy didn't think it was a rare, valuable material. He still thinks it's best to show the master first. Seeing the boy's confusion, the man offers to buy the materials, but Ryu refuses, heading to his own craftsman instead. The man asks which master the boy is going to. Ryu replies his master is Davar Crown. Hearing the name, the guard and man look excited. Awkward silence fell. He didn't understand what happened. He already thought Davar Crown was a criminal. Ryu questioned the master's fame, but the man defended him, claiming a friend recommended him and Ryu just hadn't met him yet. The man regretfully repeats the boy's words, revealing Davar Crown rules this country. Ryu's face shifts to shock. He never expected his master to be king as he and Lur head down the road. The wolf asks for their next move, shocking Ryu, who forgot he and Lear share a mental link. He replies he'll meet the king, but it's tough. He first suggests Lyra sell the materials. They continue down the road. The main character wonders where the guild is, then meets a friend. As it turned out, it's Max. He's already waving at them and greeting them. Ryu asked Mac if the guy waited. Mac confirmed, worried they hadn't returned for long. Ryu scratches his head, apologizing to the acquaintance, explaining the material check took longer. Ryu asks for the guild's location. Mac knows the way, eyes Ryu's materials and points him forward. Turns out they were close. They entered together as Mac explained guilds must report every task, so they stayed near the entrance. A large counter for reports filled the spacious room. Mac led the boy to it. He explains everything here has 3 stages. Ryu wants to sell materials, so he must reach the next stage. Clerk greets Ryu and asks him to leave the materials so the man can sell the tincture. He agrees, selling weak monster loot now and saving the best materials for the king. The boy lays all the skins on the table, and they form a real mountain. The girl bolts, telling him to wait, as a shocked Mac asks where he got all that material. Onlookers gaped. The rare, top-grade material was a true miracle. Ryu claimed it was just boar skin, but Met knew it wasn't that simple. Mac ids the massive Class A boar and shares some wild facts. Living in the forest, he'd never heard any of this before. She rushes back and apologizes for the wait, offering 62 gold for the pelts. To the boy, it's enough to last a lifetime. Ryu says it's enough. The girl bows and slides the bag across the counter, revealing bundles of shining coins. Max had never seen this much cash. Local adventurers praised Ryu's deal, calling him a legend. Only nobles or elite warriors ever see that kind of gold. Ryu realizes his fallen enemies were actually powerhouses. Suddenly, Lur speaks into his mind. She confirms the monsters he killed were elite, bragging about his forest training while he wonders why she's so proud. The boy grabs the cash. They head for the king, praying for a smooth trip. Many steps led to the king's castle, revealing a huge arched entrance and columned stone walls. King sits on throne. A guard runs up, reports a problem. Surprised, King asks what happened. The guard immediately kneels, informing him of vital news. A guard reports a man demanding to see the king. He looks like a peasant, but he's carrying a rank monster skins. The guard suspects him and asks the king for orders. The king quickly agreed, ordering the stranger brought to him. Seeing his potential, he commanded guards to keep him. Ryu and Lur rest. A woman enters, returns their gear, saying she washed and mended their clothes. He grabs his clothes, thanks her, and apologizes for the shirt. The woman demands to know why his clothes are trashed, recalling he looked like a total beggar when he arrived. He awkwardly laughed it off. He couldn't admit training in the forest with Fenrir. Lur wonders if they'll visit the castle today. The boy agrees, guards promised it yesterday. Guards caught them at the entrance yesterday, so the guild knows they're going to the king. He's thought it over, now certain he'll go. Ryu's inside the palace, facing massive carved doors. Guards line every pillar of the arched hallway. The guard announces the king awaits the boy. Ryu enters the hall, questioning the guards. Ryuji suspects the king's plan. Guards swing the doors open and demand respect. Doors burst open, blinding light pours out. The boy stands before the king, high on his throne atop a multi-stepped platform. As the king eyed him, Ryu instantly sensed the dwarf's immense power, a strength he'd learned from battling monsters, rivaling even the deadliest beasts. The boy humbles himself and kneels to the king, as Ryu introduces himself as mentor. The king heard the man came to town to trade and buy clothes. The man agrees, points to his goods, but as he tries to speak, the king interrupts, sternly asking if he stole the leather. Stunned, the boy denied it, explaining he got the skin while hunting. Ryu wondered why the king called him a thief as the ruler paused to think. He sees these are high-quality materials even from here and asks if you hunted them in the great forest as he's merely a mentor. The king interrupts, "Don't be foolish, a famous fen." Stunned by the king's words, Ryu realizes he doesn't know grandma and stays silent. The boy apologizes, explaining a friend sent him with a request. Intrigued, the king asks who it was. Ryu says she's nameless, just an ordinary huntress. The king turns away, doubting the boy's story. Lur finds the eagle rude while Ryu tells the wolf to calm down. The boy senses something is wrong. Grandma claims to know the king, but he doesn't remember her. Armed soldiers surround them. The king believes the boy is lying. Ryu asks the king directly. Stroking his beard, the king agrees to discuss terms and craft him custom gear. The boy must forfeit all skins. The king tried to add more, but the boy rose, rejecting the terms. The king frowned, shocked by his defiance. He yelled, refusing to give the king this skin. The king sneered and asked what he meant. Ryu tells the king he doesn't trust him and walks away, but a guard suddenly strikes. Finally realized telling the king is useless. Suddenly, Grandpa hunched over and screamed the boy had a stroke. The king orders the boy and Liar captured, and guards instantly surround them with spears. Lear offers to fight, but Ryu stops her, knowing attacking the king only invites more trouble. The king asks if he'll resist, but Ryu admits he's outmatched. Smirking at the wise choice, the king sends him to prison. The guard shoves the boy into a dungeon with Lur. Ryu rubs his head, complaining they stripped his skin, but Lur snaps that he should have fought back. The boy warns her they'd make many enemies and face expulsion. The king would turn on the elder. Lear finally grasps the danger. The soldiers miss the fang, but a man behind suddenly startled Ryu, nearly making him faint from fear. The man behind asks why he's jailed. Ryu was surprised someone else was next to him. The man was so quiet he hadn't even noticed. He refused to sell the skin to the king. The dwarf sighs at the pathetic excuse, and Ryu wonders why he's even here. The men whisper one word: betrayal. He tried stopping the king's monster hunt, knowing even every hunter in the kingdom can't kill Fenrir. Ray finally gets it. That's why the king wanted his skin, but prison is overkill. Ray calls the king out for his hot temper. Boy figures if this man knows the elder, he's a cool dwarf, but man reveals their king raised him. Ryu's stunned. Gnome explains this is the king's younger brother, Gnome. Ryu was stunned. Dwarf gathered his warriors and seized the throne. Looking exactly like the king, nobody noticed the swap. Dwarf learns of the great forest attack plan, instantly understands. Ryu asks for the real king. The dwarf reveals he's in solitary. The true king is locked behind massive iron doors, sealed in by a powerful curse. The boy realizes the old man meant his brother. I have to save him and explain everything. Ryu understands everything, tells Lur to come and thanks her. Nothing is impossible for them, nothing is impossible. Final version, shocked, the man asks if he's really trying to escape bars even a dwarf couldn't break. He slams Fenrir's bullet into the bars, shattering them. The stunned dwarf looks up to see a boy in wolf skin. The man asks who they are. Ryu offers the dwarf a hand, explaining he's a mentor and the wolf his friend and assistant. The dwarf understood, accepting the boy's help. They creep down the hall past broken iron grates. Peeking around the corner, the boy spots two guards at the cursed doors. Gnome asks if Ryu can save their king, and Ryu agrees since he has business with the true ruler. Ryu asks the gnome, can you fight? Gnome boasts he's a warrior, but first he needs a weapon. The boy pops out, announcing they'll lead while the dwarf covers their backs. The guard woke up to see two figures rapidly flying at him. Guards yelled for them to stop, but he ignored them and signaled Lyra not to touch them. Lear needs to disable them safely. He got the instructions and acted. The guard swung a spear, but the main character leapt aside. Ryu sees guards move slower than Fenrir, their actions predictable. Confident, he attacks a guard from behind. A guard swings at the wolf, boasting a one-hit kill, but his blade vanishes. Lur predicted the move and disarmed him instantly. Ryu closes in, calls the guard slow, and blasts him with a kick. Guards down, Arya shouts to the gnome, ready. The gnome approaches, wondering how they beat his strong soldiers. Ryu explains he trained a lot. He asks about the door. Ryu knocks, she's strong but cursed. Escape is impossible from the inside, but the spell doesn't affect those outside. Ryu again swings the elder Fenrir's blade with all his might. The powerful strike shatters the cursed door. The king sits by the wall, looks up and asks who they are. Ryu steps forward, offers his hand and greets them. The man introduces himself, then asks the gnome if he's King Dongvar. The gnome confirms, wondering how they got there. Ryu smiles, his brother helped. King bows, apologizes for his foolish brother. Ryu sits beside him, says the king shouldn't apologize, he has a request for Davar. Ryu asks the king for gear. Shocked, the king demands a reason. Ryu reveals Fenrir sent him, praising the king's legendary skills. The king raged, calling it impossible. Fenrir never spoke to humans, so he demanded the boy's truth. Ryu asked to prove his point, grabbed the elder Fenrir's fang and told Lear to turn human. The girl transformed into a human. The king was shocked by Fenrir's transformation. Ryu introduced her as the elder's granddaughter. The boy hands the king a tusk. The king sees the boy told the truth. He apologizes and grants the boy's wish. The boys, thrilled, the king agreed to help. The king can't refuse Fenrir's friend, so he asks to use the fang as an apology. The king eyes the Fenrir fangs like a child, calling them mere legendary weapons while vowing to forge a true masterpiece. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance and he won't let anyone touch the prize. The king kneels, begging to forge the boy's weapon. The boy's confused by this unexpected reception. Since he knows the elder, he must let the king forge his weapon. The boy smiles, trusting the king. The king nods, thanking him for the chance. Ryu must resolve issues with the king's brother, but regaining the throne won't be easy. The king calms the boys, asserting his power and summoning allies to expose Dorf's betrayal. The boy was leaving, but Ryu clenched his fists, demanding why they wouldn't overthrow the Lion King, someone ready to blow. Ryu and Lur approach another cell. Dwarves step aside, watching. Ryu grabs Fenrir's fang, slices the cage open and shouts for the dwarves to run. Ryu approaches a prisoner, asks if he's okay. The dwarf uncertainly responds he's fine. He asks the king if everyone is safe. The king thanks him for freeing his people. Ryu's pleased with the outcome. He'll overthrow the Lion King with his new allies. Noticing his stubbornness, the king spares the boy from facing the Lion King. The king blames his trouble on lost vigilance. The dwarf asks Ryu to handle it himself. The king clenches his fist. As the older brother, he must persuade his younger one. Ryu sensed the king's guilt and anxiety. Agreeing with Davar, he warned him to stay alert. The king points them left to a secret street passage, and Davar will contact Ryu once he's finished. After talking to the boy, the king rallied his subordinates. Mr. Davar raised his hand, urging comrades to return the throne to its true ruler. You watched the angry crowd disperse. He suggested Lyra return to the hotel. She agreed. The boys followed Davar's path. One calls for a left turn, but Lyra spots something strange. Her ears twitch, searching for the sound. Lyra asks Ryu if he heard anything, but he denies it. Lyra hears the faint sound again, and the voice is instantly familiar. Ryu asked if it was a monster, and while unsure, Dyer pointed toward the noise. Ryu rounded the corner and lunged out, clutching the old Fenrir's fang. Chick lay on the ground, unable to stand, completely exhausted. The girl wonders how the chick got here. Aryaz thinks it just got lost, it looks so weak. Ryu reaches for the chick, but it spots him, squeals and blasts flames from its beak, nearly hitting Ryu and Lesser. The boy was stunned by the fire-breathing chicken, but Lur revealed it wasn't an animal, it was a monster. The hen squawks stubbornly, more flames blast from its beak. Ryu extends his hands to calm it, saying he's no enemy. The hen gave one weak squawk, then fell. Ever wonder what happened? Finding no wounds, the boy scoops up the chicken. Lur figures it's just hungry, recognizing that same weakness herself. Ryu dug through his pockets for food, but remembered they took everything. Ryu suggests Lur take the chicken and escape the dungeon, promising to find the creature food once outside. Boys escape the dungeon. There at a hotel table, Lur and Ryu fed the chicken. She happily eats her food. Ryu smiles, seeing the small chicken feeds 3, as Lur notes he finally looks healthy. Ryu agrees, takes the chicken, then stretches it out to fly home. Instead of running away, the hen returns to Ryu, and after another peep, starts rubbing against his palm. Lur notices the chicken attached to the boy, and Ryu agrees. Lur asks for a monster contract, but he didn't save the beast for a deal. Ryu's fine with the chicken near him. He turns and asks her to make a contract. Lur disliked the remark, glared, and turned away. She reminded him, I'm following you too, right? What's she thinking? The boy suggests resting at the hotel today, then King Davar's palace tomorrow. Bright morning sun flooded the room, instantly waking the boy. Ryu scowls, confused by the struggle as a heavy weight crushes his stomach. Ryu sits up, rubs his eyes, thinking Leo climbed onto the bed. Instead of Luris, a massive bird lay on the bed, keeping Ryu wide awake. The boy stares, surprised at the bird. He understood yet couldn't believe his eyes. Ruse screamed, waking Lur. She asked why he was yelling, but he just pointed at the bird in a panic. Lyra recognizes the bird. It's the chicken they rescued from the dungeon yesterday. Ryu asks why it grew so much. Lur explains the monster grew stronger, evolving by draining magic. Ray never imagined this. Lur rarely stops to think, but she's certain this child is special. A sudden knock cuts Lear off. Soldiers have arrived and the noise terrifies the bird. The bird leaped, spread its wings, and shot out the window. Maid enters, asks Ryu to respond. He's awake, but Ryu and Lear barely glance at the bird's trail. The king summons Ryu, already waiting. Ryu and Lur approach the throne, greeting his majesty, who welcomes the boy. Ryu asks if Davar settled things with his brother, and the king credits Ryu for making it happen. King wanted Ryu to meet someone first before making gear for the boy. Suddenly, the king snapped at the shadow by the throne, ordering it to speak with Ryu. The figure was the king's younger brother, Dorf. He folded his hands and addressed Ryu and Liger. The king's brother drops to his knees before the boy, begging for forgiveness. You agree, Dorf seems a different person. Lur peeks from behind him, asking Dorf why he pretended to be king. Dorf shamefully admitted he always envied his older brother. Dorf's brother, a renowned master. Everyone talked about him, so the youngest couldn't even touch the materials. The younger brother confesses to all he was deeply hurt by the arrangement. The dwarf plans to trap his brother in a car. Since the younger brother is king, the dwarf has total access to the country's resources. Dwarf says then Ryu and Liara arrived. The king's younger brother, seeing the boy's materials, knew instantly Ryu got a unique A-rated product, unmatched in the country. Dwarf realized the man's mentor status made stealing his materials easy. But the boy refused to sell the materials. The gnome realized Ryu saw through him, losing control and revealing his mistake. Younger brother bows to the guy one last time, asking forgiveness. He understands and forgives Dwarf. Even King Davar backs his brother's apology, begging for his forgiveness and one last plea. King Davar seriously asks Ryu to let Dwarf equip the boy. Ryu, the younger brother, was shocked. Dwarf instantly argued with Davar, but Ryu interrupted them. He asks why the king chose him. Davar admits that while he makes weapons, his brother is the superior craftsman. Clenching his fist, the king declares they'll finally atone for their guilt. Inside the king's memories, one brother wipes sweat from exhaustion while the other is mesmerized by a shining dagger. He always did everything with his brother, but he grew distant, tackling tasks alone. His brother got no chance to shine, and he never saw the pain it caused. As he left, Dorf watched him sadly. Back now, the king stands with his brother, Lear and Ryu, realizing his past mistakes started this war. The older brother couldn't handle it. Dorf tries to convince his brother it's not true. Ignoring him, the king vouches for Ryu's power and asks for a favor. Lear called his name, and knowing the plan, he put his faith in the king's younger brother. The king thanks you, but his brother is baffled. The man explains he couldn't refuse the country's two best masters. With their elite gear, victory is guaranteed. The king confirms Dorf understands, but the younger brother stays skeptical, asking if things are truly fine after all his past trouble. His brother says to prove his regret, he must craft you the world's best gear. He always boasts he's a master, demanding action, not just talk. He warns Dorf not to fail, his reputation's on the line. He demands they go all out, just like old times. The king offers his hand, he shakes it, and his younger brother's eyes well with joy. Raising his brother's hand, the gnome vows to forge the country's best gear. Rue, watching, joins. He's glad the brothers made up. The king apologizes for the wait. Problems solved, it's time to move on. Back at the village, Tia expects a massive crowd. Her friend reminds her that as a heroine, everyone adores her. He tells the girl to hurry, desperate to see his old friend Ryu after all this time. She agrees with Taiga, hopes the guy is well. They want to discuss important issues. Nearing the house, they find it destroyed, open for anyone to look inside. Heroes are stunned, clueless. They left a peaceful home. The guard calls them heroes and asks why they're there, but the girl's too shaken to mention Ryu. She's desperate to find Ryu. The man tells Tia to stay calm, then asks the guard what happened to their friend who lived there. Their friend vanished, the man announces. They stand up, shocked and speechless. Tia's stunned he vanished, while Taiga asks how long he's been missing. 2 months pass. One night a crash sent him running, but the house was already leveled. He was helpless. The boy asks the guard why he was left behind, but the guard knows nothing. He can't read minds. He worked hard daily, always helped with livestock so no one imagined he'd be gone. The guard regretfully reports finding strange fur. It's no ordinary animal. A monster took him and the girl's face instantly shifts. Tia turns to her horse saying she'll find the main character. Taiga stops her, citing their mission. She assures him she'll find you and handle the task so he needn't worry, but Taiga points out she doesn't even know where to look. She replies it doesn't matter, she'll search everywhere anyway. Wait for her, she'll find him and won't let him die. Ryu suddenly sneezes, remembering Tia as nearby. Lur wonders if he's sick. The rescue began. King's brother forges weapons as the crowd watches intently. The room sighs in disappointment as he fails to melt the material. Ryu realizes the material won't melt, he needs a new approach. Dwarf looks devastated. He's tried melting the tusk countless times with zero luck. This thing is just too strong. The gnome knows if this is Fenrir's fang, only a flame as powerful as the ancient elders can melt it. Rue doubts any flame matches Fenrir's, but the cat girl recalls something. He asks about Heart of Flame. Stunned, the heroine fires the question back. One brother interrupts, confused about the city and the legendary bird. The other heard Nazna slays dragons, but the elder suspects it's just a myth. They saw her. Since they suggested a guard, she asks if he still gets it. He says they found a dungeon chick, asking where it came from. He's shocked it's a guardian. She explains his magic made the bird grow fast, unlike normal monsters. Only high-rank monsters have this power. She knows he did it. Brother asks his location. Ryu tries to explain. Dwarf figured he'd flown away. The king suspects he's on the mountain behind the castle, but Dwarf asks his brother if he's sure, given how much time passed. He explains there's no other way, only the guard's powerful flame can melt the fangs. Stuck guarding the castle, the brothers guiltily send Mr. Ryu to handle the search. Eventually he assures them, trust him, no worries. The boy and girl roam the desert. He promised his brothers he'd find Garrett, but the search is proving impossible. He felt too cocky, but she agreed he might be right. Sensing his mana, the guardian should have flown straight to him. Didn't you realize he was just bait? He tells her to search elsewhere since there's still plenty of ground to cover. Girl heard noise, stopped him. Lur heard voices from beyond. They spot a chick fleeing for its life with the monster hot on its heels. Heroes realize it's Gerard, but the girl notices he's flapping his wings strangely and can't run properly. Ryu's hurt, urges Lur to hurry. Lur understands they're rushing to help him. The monster lunged at the chick, but Lur stopped it just in time. She asks if Garrett's okay. Ryu checks the bird and finds no outside wounds but warns something is still wrong. They head back to the castle to find the flame that'll melt those fangs. Soon everyone gathers at the castle. Garrett lies unconscious on his pillow, slowly regaining strength. Ray was shocked the bird was so close. He expected the sentinel to fly further, but Lur guessed it was an orphan. MC asks Lur if she truly thinks that's why he's alone. She retorts he has nowhere to go, so he can't run far. Everything clicks for Ryu. The king enters asking how the guard is doing. He says he's fine, but Garrett needs rest. You can't guarantee you'll help them. The bird slowly wakes up, he notices. He wonders how the guard feels and tells him to rest longer. The bird didn't expect so many people upon waking. He flies to Ryu, grabs his shoulder and squawks at him. He asks if he's still scared of people and tells him to stop. She reassures him it's safe, nothing to worry about, just relax. The girl watches them attentively. He offers the MC a contract with Gerard. Ray's shocked and doesn't get why. Lur warns the bird is in trouble without them. He needs a reliable person. The best solution is to sign a contract. Ryo backs the contract but leaves the final choice to Goddard. Ryu asks Gardu for a contract, desperate for his strength. If he refuses, he can leave, but he still wants the answer, so he asks his choice. Everyone watches as the bird stares the boy down. Garrett soared, the boy stares stunned. The bird lands on his shoulder, as if agreeing with his proposal, and chirps happily. Rue can't believe it, presses him if he's sure. The bird's chirp confirms her choice. Lur praises his rare legendary bird contract. He thanks her and asks for her name. Dwarf nearby wonders if he truly wants to meet Garrett, but the king calls it a rare chance, suggesting they talk in the town square for the view. Group and Haired reach the square, but Ryu is stunned by the massive crowd. Guards and locals swarm the area. Someone screams the king's name and the hero asks if this crowd is normal. King apologizes, his status drew unwanted attention. He asks if another time is better, but Ryu insists they finish now or it'll drag on for days. Holding the bird, he gives it a name and strikes a deal. Boy tells the legendary bird he'll perform a ritual to make them family. He hopes God approves and God signals agreement. The MC starts the ritual as the bird nears the gun. Ryu smiled at the bird and named him Korin. She just closed her eyes. Fire hurricane erupts, sweeping everything away. King and Rue are baffled, but Lear spots something in the storm and yells for the boy to look. Inside the hurricane, an egg appeared, hovering in midair. Heroes close in, unsure if Karin's there. Lur suspects Garrett's changing. Ray thinks this only happens to powerful monsters. He can't grasp Karin's change. Lur explains evolution grants new form and strength, and Ria's power lets her evolve. The girl wonders what the guard looks like and wants to greet him properly. The egg cracks, Karin's hatching, and he reaches out to catch her before she falls. Winged girl falls, you catch and gently lay her down. He asks if Karina's okay after her sudden arrival, but Garrett just calls him Dad. He can't believe he was called that, completely surprised. But Karin continues, saying despite the time passed, he's still just as cool. He promised they'd be family, but she took it too far. Now Karin's calling him Dad. Questions plagued Ryu. He wondered why she's human and calls him Dad. Karin reveals her loneliness. Born alone, she sought family, but people attacked on sight, forcing her to run and hide her whole life. Lur finally gets why she fled from soldiers. Karin confirms she saw it all, but her dad and sister helped her that day. She means you and Lur. She'd never known kindness before, so she loved them and vowed to become human. After review, Ryu approaches Karina, strokes her head, understanding everything, as the king's voice booms from the whirlwind, asking if Ryu is alright and demanding a response. Hiro says he's fine, tells Karin to douse the flame. She instantly complies. Ryu waves. Dorf sees the guys arrive. The main character tells the brothers it went well, but Dorf doesn't grasp the scale. They caused a massive storm. Once he calms, the king asks about the girl. He introduces Karin, revealing she's chosen to become human. Dorf is stunned by the guard's news, but the king is. He expected this from a legendary bird. Ryu asks if Karin's help is enough, certain her power makes them unstoppable. Ryu ordered them back to the workshop to work, and to calm the city's residents. Returning, Karin dropped a feather, leaving it behind. A young man grabbed it and inspected it closely, vowing to find this mysterious and unusual Ryu. A month later, Dorf has the MC test his new invention while Lur watches. Gnome calls this his masterpiece, his handmade leather armor. Rue's amazed, calling the armor incredible. Stunned he made something so cool. Dorf replies it's all thanks to rare materials. He disables temperature changes, confusing the main character who demands an explanation. He explains fire and ice magic fail against this armor. Korin's feathers gave the material fire magic resistance. He knows cold heat protection helps. Rue's eyes sparkle as he enthusiastically thanks Dorf. Only the sword remains as the king enters, apologizing for the wait. He tells him his sword is ready. He says the job was worth the wait, but Dorf realizes the sword is forged from Fenrir's fang. Ryu asks, wasn't this a dagger? Why is it sharpened only on one side? The king reveals the sword's secret. Eastern techniques sharpen one side to make it deadlier. The girl with the king claims she helped forge the weapon. Ryu strokes her head, praising her. He says it's time to name the weapon, but the MC doesn't understand why. King engraves the blade, marking it as his alone to wield. Didn't expect that, mind blanked, then a brilliant idea hit. He names the sword Wolf, the king agrees. Lear finds it predictable, but Ryu doesn't get the problem. Brother skips the destruction for real combat, and the MC agrees. The crowd swarms Ryu's group in the city square, shouting that the show is about to begin. MC is stunned by the massive crowd, but the king sadly admits they've found him out again. King assured him the crowd's contained. Ryu understood but would drive slow, wary of the crowd. King ordered, begin. Everyone leaned in as the speaker announced the king's sword trial begins now. The king orders him to unleash the sword's full magic, needing to see its power. Ryu understands, now alone in the square. The crowd watches him, told to go all out. He fears his strength will hurt them, so he punches the sky instead. He swung the sword, all eyes tracked its deadly trajectory. The impact splits the clouds, everyone stunned, even Ryu. The crowd erupted, stunned by the hero's insane power. Ryu can't believe it. Karin declares her dad's strongest. Lur approaches just as she expected. The king tells the hero Fenrir's fang lived up to its name with magic on a whole new level. The king voiced his satisfaction until a sudden shout forced everyone to look up. Head snapped up, a dragon flew closer, and stranger still, someone rode its back. Ryu freezes, watching the dragon burst through clouds, flying straight at them, riders on its back. As the dragon lands, its riders leap off. 4 uniformed figures face our heroes. The man starts, telling Ryu they haven't seen each other in ages. The boy's confused, can't place him, but Lur lights up seeing the man, calling him grandpa. Ryu stands bewildered, then realizes he faces the elder. Smiling, the man says Ryu sees him for the first time as human, not dragon. He spots his dad, mom, and Grandma Lyra behind him, but he's shocked. Grandma looks young. Reading his mind, she asks why she looks so young, but he denies ever noticing. The king checks on Fenrir, who replies that he's in perfect health. The king asks why they're here, but the elder just wants to talk to Ryu. He needs answers but won't talk in front of the crowd, waiting until they're alone. He's curious what Fenrir wanted from him, a dangerous creature recently awakened. The dragon of evil named him. A huge three-headed creature casts various magic. The elder fought it but couldn't defeat it, so they sealed it. Ryu knew he was a true demon and stayed away. Fenrir felt the seal weakening and prepared for battle. He'll need allies in battle, so he came to ask Ryu for help, but Ryu can't imagine it nor understand how to deal with it. Ryu asks the elder if he can handle the dragon. The elder just laughs, revealing he trained in the Great Forest, making him far superior. He tells Ryu to be more confident. Ryu tells Lur he'll do it since the old man said so, and Lur peeks out, promising to help his grandfather too. Ryu asks where the dragon is, and the elder reveals it's in the Dragon Empire. The seal is in a cave near the Imperial Castle, so everyone's fighting together this time. He'll explain everything on the way to the kingdom. Ryu can't believe this is possible. Suddenly, a strange noise echoes behind him. He turns to see a massive dragon and freezes in fear. The dragon found it interesting. He never imagined Fenrir would ask a human for help. He leaned in, asking if he was an elder's disciple. Ryu can't believe he's talking to the dragon that brought the Lur family. Fenrir introduces him to the others. He's her son-in-law, an earthly dragon. The elder's son-in-law greets the MC, who gladly returns the favor. Ryu's stunned these legendary monsters are related and can actually talk. The crowd in the square is baffled. They can't believe the hero talks to a dragon. Fenrir's son-in-law leads them to the Dragon Empire. Ryu admits it's too much, unsure of his power, but his brothers convince him they're going too. This adventure can't. Soon, they fly to the Dragon Empire, and the elder asks about his new girlfriend. Laughing, he reveals he's both Lear and Korina. He praises the boy but warns him to stay sharp to handle both. Dad's always around, but during a talk with Grandpa, Lur calls him a bad person. Ryu took his daughter, now he betrays her, warning the end is near. Her mom smacks his head, telling him to stop the nonsense. She turns to the main character, tells him to ignore it. Her husband really missed him. Ryu realizes they haven't met in a month. He tells her parents she's terrified for Karin. They eat and bathe together. Lyra says it's how she cares for her sister. Grandpa Lur asks Karin about her parents and if they'll worry. Clutching her sister's hand, the girl says she's an orphan but has Ryu and Lyre, and her sister reassures her everything's fine. She's young but she's found great people on her journey. He tells Karin if his granddaughter sees her as a sister, she's like a daughter to them. She's hesitant, but he welcomes her as family while the others smile in support. Root beams with joy, grinning as she finally understands and thanks him. Riding the Earth Dragon, he announces they're almost there. Ryu admires Earth's landscapes, it looks wonderful. He sees the massive city, he can't believe it's happening. He leans in, asking if this is the Dragon Empire. The elder confirms it, this whole city is the Empire. The dragon joins, admitting he dislikes the Empire for being too small. The main character can't grasp how such a country is small. The dragon is close friends with the Draconites. Since they're human-sized, they built a human-scale palace. He transforms to live there in peace, but Ryu admits it's not easy. They reach the gates, the Earth Dragon waves them through. Ryu thanks him. A long-haired boy appears and leans close to his face. The dragon offers to show them around. The MC didn't expect the Earth Dragon to suddenly turn human. At the gates, guards bow to their master, who thanks them. They ask if those next to him are friends. The man confirms, Fenrir and his family. A guard can't believe it, exclaiming, with such a legend, victory's guaranteed. A second guard points at Ryu, asking who he is. He explains that Ryu is his student. Guards question their master's human student, worrying humans are weak. Ryu dislikes their words but can't argue it's true. Furious, Lear demanded to know if they were calling the elder student weak, forcing the terrified guard to quickly back down. Ryu questions her dad's rage but defends him, assuming he hated looking weak. Furious and determined, Lear understood, then roared they'd show their student's strength. Entering the territory, Lur's father demanded his boss, warning Ryu could kill him in 2 seconds. Ryu doesn't understand how he got into this with others deciding his fate. This boss looks terrifying. With horns on his head, they square off away from the crowd to duel. Lear's father yells from the crowd, "Don't lose!" Karin just wishes Ryu good luck. This crushes Ryu. He hates this situation, never wanting to fight. Earth Dragon calls them to discuss duel rules. He asks if they'll accept defeat once a side falls. Both the chief and hero agree. The chief warns Ryu there's no mercy for humans. The Earth Dragon drops his hand and the duel begins. Signal blared, the leader instantly charged. His speed put him next to the enemy, sword aimed, but the hero barely stopped the attack. The boss retreated, but instantly lunged back at our hero, sword ready. Seeing his struggle, he asks what happened and if he plans to fight the Black Dragon with that power. Ryu can't withstand the attacks. His opponent is too strong and fast, pushing him beyond his limits. He can't strike back, but with his reputation on the line, giving up isn't an option. He must use the sword technique. Attacking with magic offers a chance to win, but he must restrain his power to use it accurately. As their swords clashed again, he realizes he must use his technique, touching his blade's edge to the opponent's. Ignoring his magic, he slams into the wall, leaving a massive dent. Everyone watching is shocked by what happened, even Ryu is stunned. He carefully holds the blade, still unaccustomed to the wolf's strength. The Earth Dragon ends the duel, declaring Ryu the winner as guards rush to their fallen commander. King Lear praises the boy's skill as Korin celebrates the win with his father. Ryu worries for his opponent, asking the Earth Dragon if he's okay. The man replies nothing happened since they agreed to the duel and nothing will happen, so Ryu sighs in relief. The elder puts a hand on his shoulder, praising his new strength. The Earth Dragon offers to open the Empire's gates. He grips the door. Everyone froze as he heaved the massive gates open. He succeeds, and a stunning view of the Empire's nature unfolds before them. The Earth Dragon leads them past a house where a shadowed man watches. Stunned, the dragon army fell so easily. He's eager to meet the newly arrived, interesting personalities. Travelers walk the main street, packed with people. Ryu admires the view as the Earth Dragon explains this dragon realm is nothing like the human world. Karin eyes the store counter. Ryu and Lur notice in Sector R. Girl asks what happened. Shocked someone followed, Korin claimed everything was fine. Lur spots bows on the counter, picks one out and asks to buy it. The Earth Dragon, overhearing, says there's time before battle so they can explore the city freely. The MC suggests a shopping spree to buy everything they want. Girls instantly agree, overjoyed by the offer. The dragon says they must first meet the Emperor. Everyone they pass is busy with their own work. You notice it's not just dragons, all kinds of races live here. The lead Earth Dragon confirms they treat everyone with respect. Dragonites are half human, half dragon. Evolving makes some grow lizard heads. Curious, he asks, who is this dragon emperor? The dragon replies, he's the Empire's strongest, far more powerful than me. The boy can't believe such might. The dragon cuts his thoughts, promising understanding upon sight, then orders him into the hall. They've arrived, talk's done. The doors open. He spots the Emperor and Empress on the throne. They look friendly, but Ryu senses their unique aura. It's the Imperial family. The Earth Dragon bows to the Emperor. They rise from thrones, approach the new travelers. The Emperor greets the earthly dragon, while the Empress didn't expect so many allies. Since he defeated the security chief, she finally respects him. Her face shifts to a smile. She's never seen such strength, pinning her hopes on the hero. The Earth Dragon turns to the boy, demanding his reply. Emperor interrupts, demanding tactics talk with Fenrir. Empress adds rooms await guests. Boys stare surprised at Dragon Country's rulers. The elder asks the others. The Emperor's face shifts. He hesitates, then declares only they will fight. Ryu was stunned. He couldn't believe they were the only ones fighting. The Emperor sadly confirms they once got along well with other races, but since the hero appeared, they refused to support them. The elder gets it, but the main character stands stunned, struggling to grasp the words. With so few left, he wonders if they'll be okay, then remembers the hero. He remembers Tia's a heroine and considers asking for help, but the Earth Dragon says it's no use. She hunts every monster on sight, even targeting half-humans. MC can't believe Tia is attacking everyone. This isn't her. The Fenrir head knows they're doomed and the Emperor apologizes. Ryu remembered Taiga mentioned Tia's strange behavior before their trip. Hero asks Taiga if Tia's acting strange. Taiga confirms, fighting monsters. Tia's face twists beyond recognition, even he gets scared. Ryu's stunned, remembering Tia as a total crybaby, and Taiga remembers too. He asks what happened to her, but the MC claims he has no clue. Taiga claims a heroic spirit drives her, but Ryu suspects a darker reason for her monster hatred. Meanwhile, Tia and Taiga, completing tasks and searching for the main character, don't get this strange request. The boy is livid. Forging Fenrir's fangs requires the Guardian's flame, but he's clueless. Still, the king promised a legendary weapon if they gathered the materials. Tiger heard the king is a master blacksmith. His friend isn't surprised. Real weapons need the best materials. Tia says forget the weapon, but the girl behind her asks why they even came. Priestess Maria calls Tia a hero always in danger. That night, teammate Gran joined them, agreeing Tia needs good weapons. Tiger suggests heading to the guild for material info, and the team agrees. Soon they reach the guild, but everyone stared strangely. Night watches completely confused. Mentioning Fenrir and Garrett draws suspicious glares, and when questioned the locals go dead silent. Tia senses danger. A hooded stranger approaches, asking if they seek the truth about Fenrir and the legendary bird guard. Girl asks his name. He pretends he sells info. He asks why the hero wants Fenrir and guard. She explains the king said to get the weapon, they need Fenrir's fangs and guard's flame. Grant confronts the informant, demanding answers, offering any payment, but the traitor refuses money, wanting a story instead. Last month, a man arrived with Fenrir and Garrett and crushed the king's brother's rebellion. He's a national hero now, but Tia's confused. She thinks she's the hero. Merchant continues. Rumors claim the hero hates monsters, but he's friends with Fenrir and Gerard, making him fear the hero will just kill them. If the merchant talks, their hero might kill his allies, then return for revenge. Maria asks why no one tells them details. The merchant's reply was unclear. Taiga asks what happened, but Tia ignores him, standing with her back turned. She turned, vowing to deal with the hero. She heads for the exit, thanking the seller. Taiga tries to stop her. Vowing to destroy every monster, Tia leaves the guild and swears to find Ryu once it's over. Ryu sits with Lur and Karin. Exhausted, he rests his head, glad it's finally over. The meeting settled nothing. The Dragon Emperor and Elder kept debating strategy, leaving him with nothing to do. Lur suggests a walk around the palace. Karin instantly agrees, and you're in. He knows wandering the palace is pointless. He has to warn someone first. He opens the door to a maid. Ryu's shocked he's seen her with the Empress. She asks where he's headed. Startled, he claims he's just exploring the palace, but the maid eyes him suspiciously. She instantly changes expression, telling them to follow. Karin loves this turn of events. The heroes move on, but the boy senses something's wrong. Was she outside the door, eavesdropping the whole time? The magician leads them through the dining hall, library, and training room where knights are training. She leads them to the Imperial Garden. They delight in its beauty, but I can't look away. Karin and Lur love the garden, and the MC agrees. The maid is happy they like it, as the princess loves it too. Ryu, clueless, asks the maid which princess. The maid says the princess is here, vital to their country. Ryu claims to get it, but has one question. He points to a post with hair sticking out, asking who's hiding. The little girl emerges, saying he noticed her after all. The trio stares in shock. A child stands right before them. The girl approached the hero and stared. Confused, he asks what she needs. The question stumps her. She's speechless. She fumbles for an excuse, but nothing works. He spots his sword. A brilliant idea strikes. She asks for it, but Ryu shuts her down instantly. The room falls silent. Girl's shocked he refused, unable to grasp why. The MC explains these aren't kids' toys. Annoyed, she taps her foot and insists she's no longer a child. Confused, Ryu stares blankly at the maid, not understanding. She immediately gets it, apologizes, and says she'll call her parents. Guy calmly replies it's no problem, he'll wait. He squats before her. Her parents are leaving. Karin asks, are you lost? Her anger explodes. She trembles, yelling, don't mock me. She vows to take the sword and charges full force, but he effortlessly dodges her strike. He's confused as she screams, demanding his sword. She lunges for the sword, but Ryu blocks her again and bolts. But MC notices the girl's too fast for her age, yet her moves are predictable. She won't take no, grabbing the boy and demanding her way. But he refuses again, begging Lyra and Karin for help. The girls won't interfere. Lur claims he's fine. Karin asks Ryu to play later. Ryu realizes he'll get no help. Furious, she shakes and screams at him for ignoring her, only fueling her rage. She lets loose, swinging her fists with pure energy. Sharp claws flash before Ryu. He's baffled. She claims he angered her and demands his final words. Lunging at his face, she shouts, take this. Nails fly at the boy's face, but he bolts, while the princess slams headfirst into a pillar. He steps away to a safe distance, but she still trembles with rage, so he worries and asks if she's okay, seeing her on the ground, shaking. The princess returns in tears and he freezes, realizing he's the reason she's upset. He sits by the sobbing girl as she asks why she lost despite being stronger, but he tells her to relax. He says call a doctor. From behind, May's voice apologizes for the delay. She leads the Empress straight to them. Shocked, the man scrambles up and asks why she's here when the maid was supposed to call her parents. The Empress bows low, apologizing for her daughter's behavior. His life shatters as he struggles to accept the truth. The Empress looks up, sadly confirming she's her daughter. Maid adds her granddaughters there. MC can't grasp it, how's she her granddaughter? He asks the maid why she didn't stop the misbehaving princess, but the woman replies, looking away, she simply can't handle children. In Rias, his mind is racing. If the Empress is her mother, who's the father? He finally realizes the girl on the floor is the throne's heir. Riv still can't believe the girl who tried to steal his sword is the Dragon Empire's princess. An elder approaches, noting Ryu's always at the center. Ryu's surprised as the elder greets the maid, calling her Tiamat, and she's glad to see him too. The Fenrir leader is confused, but the elder realizes the girl tried to steal Ryu's sword. She plays the victim, blaming Ryu for dodging her strikes. If he stayed put, she would have crushed him, but her ashamed grandmother orders her to stop. He says she lost, accept it, they must intensify their daily training. Maid bows low, apologizing non-stop. Ryu brushes it off, but Tiamat has one final request. She asks him to train the princess, hand on the girl's head. He's stunned, can't believe it. He asks to find someone stronger, but the maid warns the princess will be scared to come. Next to him, she calms. Her parents wanted to discuss it. She'll inherit the throne, so they need her ready. They beg him for help. Ryu accepts but doubts his teaching. An elder grabs his shoulder, urging him to agree. Even dragons bowed to him, and Ryu still has much to learn. Ryu agrees to train her and tells everyone to look up. The grandmother thanks him, but Ryu has one final request. Hand on chest, he demanded Tiamat teach him in return. She doesn't understand his training, but he explains he needs to prep for the fight. Her lessons will be vital. Maid smiles, okay with it. The guy explodes with joy, thanking her profusely. He tells Karin they can rest, but she cuts him off, refusing to stop and demanding to train too. Ryu doesn't get why she's doing this, it's dangerous. Karin replies she wants to help her dad. She won't stay gone forever, MC needs to comfort her. The elder steps in to handle security personally. Stunned, Karin asks if he's for real. Ryu asks if it's okay. The elder says how can he refuse her when she asks. She wants to get stronger, so he'll gladly help her. Fenrir head approaches Tiamat, offering something, whispering in her ear. Tiamat's eyes narrow. She smiles, agreeing to start tomorrow while the elder begs for mercy. The man beside him is clueless but knows he's involved too. Next morning, the maid sends him flying with one hit. He drops to his knees, she snaps, get up, we're not done. Ryu hears the maid and realizes she's a demon. Knowing Karin is with the elder, he pictures her lifeless on the floor. Tiamat reproaches him, he gets results but wastes movement. She tells him to conserve energy since he tires too fast, then demonstrates a quick lesson with her hand. Maid warns his skills won't stop the dragon as the blow sends him flying. Barely standing, he remembers Karin and Lur fighting, so he can't quit. He stayed focused on getting stronger, but the maid soon sent him flying again. The woman finally calls it quits. Relieved it's over, the princess and MC tremble, barely able to stand. Tiamat isn't done, ordering 100 more laps. They're shocked the training continues. Yu and the princess enter the dining room, completely drained from training. Maid behind Lyra and Karin announces she's monitoring their diet starting today. She declared no objections accepted, returning soon. Karina and Lyra notice the boys look terrible. They're asked if they're okay, but neither hero nor princess can answer. Ryu admits he's at his limit, but his insane grit shocks the girl. In Day's princess, he strikes the guy still dodging. The girl makes a clumsy move. Ray grabs her arm, pins her down, stopping her escape. The main character admits he's tired, but the princess pushes on. Lyra and Karen watch from the sidelines as the grandmother calls the girl's moves too basic, demanding she plan every strike. Replaying, the guy listens to the maid. He moves well but reacts slowly. Still, it could work with the princess. But if the enemy moves faster, they're in trouble, so always track their moves. Ryu reluctantly gives in, but Tiamat cuts him off, insisting it's simple. He must sense enemy mana to track its path, know when to strike or flee, and anticipate every attack. The boy still didn't get it despite her explanations. She sighs, admitting it's hard to explain. She asks if strong foes pressure him. He remembers the king's chilling aura from their first meeting. She sees he's recalled that feeling good. He has an idea. Lesson learned, she suggests reinforcing it, unbuttoning her shirt. Confused, the boy covers her eyes, telling her to stop. Then something blocks the sun. He drops his hands to see a massive dragon blocking the sun. The princess's grandma transforms into a dragon, declaring this her new battle form. He's stunned. She asks him to defeat her, allowing any weapon. Ryu learns Tiamat is joining the fight. She warns he can't touch her until he dodges her grandmother's attacks. A shocked Ryu asks if that's too cruel. Himad replies he's to blame for his problems. He chose her as mentor. The elder warns real learning starts now. Get ready. Maid wags her tail, declares they're starting. The dragon's tail blasts him back. He wasn't ready for that speed. A dragon woman asks what happened, warning the dark dragon's attacks will intensify, but the hero draws his sword, replying he knows everything. Suddenly, a girl runs out, reminding them of her. Surprised, the boy steps aside. Meanwhile, the princess attacks the grandmother. She circles the dragon, disorienting it. Ryu stands aside, frozen. He's forced to dodge. If he gets close, the girl and her grandma will strike instantly. Tiamat saw Ryu freeze and screamed that hesitation kills. She barked at him to remember their talk and feel the mana. These words snap the boy awake. The maid then covers the field in dust, warning him luck alone won't win. Running on fumes, he gasps for air and struggles to stay standing, eyes locked on his enemy. The dragoness wonders if he's hit his limit. He's done well for a human, reminding her of a talk with Fenrir. Fenrir had told the maid Ruse who they need. She sees nothing special in him, doubting the elder's proposal. Suddenly, the boy's aura shifts. Sensing his massive power, the elder and dragon realize he's transformed. Fenrir head just grins as the maid prepares to step in. She taunts Ryu, asking if that's all he's got. The princess charges into battle, seeing her chance. Tiamat doesn't stop, asking if she should kill him. The girl freezes, confused by her grandma's words. But the dragon warns that in his current state, the boy will die at the hands of the dark dragon. She can kill him painlessly. Tiamat leaned over the boy, towering. The dragon maid tells him it's over as he stands right beside her. Avoiding the boy, the princess begs her grandma to stop. Ryu doesn't understand how it went wrong. He just wanted to reach his friends. He can't believe his hard work was for nothing. A hand lands on his shoulder. Instantly, his behavior snaps. He won't tolerate it, fighting to the end. He'll never give up. Maid senses his resolve, strikes hard, raising a dust storm that blinds all. The blow unleashes a wind, nearly toppling the princess. The dragon's foot is inches away, and suddenly everything clicks. The manner briefly revealed the strike's origin, since dust obscured everything else, letting him dodge and survive. He thinks he can finally sense the opponent's mana. The maid, now human, congratulated the main character for finally sensing it. She wonders if he liked her act, hoping he didn't think she actually meant to kill him. The boy sighs with relief, confirming it was exactly so, but Tiamat adds it's more than just a game. Shocked, the boy freezes. The maid praises his victory and he blushes while thanking the princess's grandmother. The princess frantically claims she knew nothing, but she's still forced to train until she passes. Grandfather tells granddaughter to stop being selfish and capricious, but the MC interrupts, asking if the princess also failed. Stunned and confused, the grandmother and girl stared, waiting for him to explain. The boy points to a vest button about to snap off. He claims she offended him, asking if her task was to seduce him. The maid, head in hand, replies it formally was so. The woman reveals the princess is dead. Shocked, the girl's eyes beam with joy. She celebrates her small victory. Ryu sees her success, strokes her head, praising the princess. The girl beams at Ryu's praise, laughing, "Of course I managed it just like you would." Lur and Karin watched the incredible fight from aside. They suggested a celebratory meal, and seeing them, the hero joyfully shouted their names. Tiamat stands apart, calmly observing and relishing their talk. Late at night, the elder and Tiamat drink together. Fenrir, the family head, never imagined they'd share a table again. Faces hidden in the cozy dimness, he recalls their chaotic past. The maid laughs, saying they were never bored. The elder asks how her training with the MC is going. The match nods, says everything's fine, Ryu's making good progress. The elder laughs proudly, adding he never expected the match to acquire a husband. She refuses to teach anyone, but Fenrir claims he'll eventually defeat them. The woman says anything's possible, but she's still glad the girl reuses. She debates giving the princess to Ryu. The elder gasps incredible news. He makes coffee. He asks if she's drunk or sick. warning that passing a dragon princess as human is impossible. Smiling, she says it's tough but possible. If he surpasses everyone, he'll definitely be noticed. Ryu's the right person. The man sighs heavily, agrees, then reveals an acquaintance's involvement. The Fenrir family head frowns, saying an ordinary person can't have such strength. He wonders why Ryu survived. Many tried to claim that power through a contract, but they all met a gruesome end. Tiamat gets serious, says the decision is his and no one can stop him. If he finds Ryu, it's trouble. He's mastered a power no one else could touch. The elder asks if anyone else knows. She doubts it since the man vanished years ago, then wonders how the elder finally tracked him down. Fenrir, the family head, will tell her everything when the time comes. Ryu holds a hidden power no one knows. MC trains with Tiamat. During their duel, he charges, yelling, "Take this," pushing the maid back, but she holds her ground. Tiamat claims Ryu's grown stronger post-fight. He questions her, but she confirms his skills have evolved. She's stunned by his rapid growth, and the boy excitedly asks if it's true. His training is finally paying off. Now he might actually wound the dark dragon. Tiamat cancels tomorrow's training because the boy improved. The girl is thrilled, but the boy is crushed, demanding to know why. She tells him his body is fried from daily training, and resting now beats another workout since recovery is part of the grind. She confronts the elder, asking why he avoids Lur and Korina. Meanwhile, the girl organizes a duel, watched by the Fenrir clan head from the side. He's down since they haven't explored the city yet. He decides it's time to hit the streets. Next morning, Ryu's fast asleep until he senses someone in his room. Dreaming, a voice calls his name, urging him awake. He can't tell who it is, but reluctantly he opens his eyes. Ryu opened his eyes to Liara, urging him awake. He was surprised she came to wake him herself. Lur ignores his questions and rushes him, saying Karin's waiting and they need to dress fast. He promised the girls he'd hang out today. Back at the market, the crowd works peacefully as our heroes blend in. He asks the girls where to go. Karin ponders, but Lear confesses she's new to the city, unable to suggest anything. Remembering Karin wanted ribbons, he suggests the shop. She's shocked and Lur agrees it's a great idea. Ryu turns, asks if the other agrees. He calls her princess, and she stands with the boys, hands on her hips and grinning with pride. She agrees instantly. Since they're lost, she'll show them the city and they'll end up thanking her. Ryu never imagined walking with the princess. He recalled talking with Tiamat during training. He froze, asking her if she truly wanted him to take the princess. Grandmother seriously confirms he understood, explaining she has a meeting. With no one to watch the princess, she asks him to. After this, the main character asks about the other servants, but the woman replies that unfortunately they cannot handle the princess's fiery temperament. She reassures him it'll be fine. Regardless of Tiamat's words, he'd still risk his life for her. The princess rallies the crowd and leads the charge. They enter the empty jewelry store. The seller bows a warm greeting. The man offered jewelry advice, but the girl explained she brought her friends here to shop. Karina beams at the jewels while Lur stares, stunned by the massive collection. Lion Karen admired the jewelry. Suddenly, she noticed the princess looking at the girls. Ryu suddenly asked her to see the jewelry, catching the princess off guard. She turned away and said haughtily she was a princess and had everything. Ryu smiled, adding girls like jewelry. The princess eyed the young man, then asked him something. Surprised, Ryu stayed silent. The princess asks why he wants power, but a stunned Ryu stays silent. Girl asked him suddenly. Princess orders him to answer. He scratches his cheek, awkwardly admitting he just wanted to match his friends. Both got rare combat classes, but he fell behind and fought to get stronger. Princess asks if he seeks power because his life sucks like hers. Ryu shifts talk to the mentor. A surprised princess asks what it means. Is the mentor truly the reason? She screams in denial at losing to a mere mentor, but Ryu shouts back that his training paid off. He says he gained power only thanks to the leader. Without Lyra, he'd still be a simple shepherd, and the princess is shocked to hear of his travels. She grilled Ryu about his travels, but he confessed he'd only ever visited one country. Ryu calls her a princess and asks if she travels much. The princess refused. She'd never left the empire. Ryu was shocked. The princess clenched her dress, saying as a princess, she can't just leave the country, she feels caged. Ryu said he understood, but the princess snapped, demanding he explain himself. She screamed, "What is this? Was he royalty too? Did he really think she was so simple?" Ryu smiled, claiming he was like the princess. He had never left his village and learned everything from his friends. He envied them for being able to travel wherever they wanted, and when they brought back souvenirs, it fueled his envy even more. He asks the stunned princess if she feels the same. She shouted that her family smothers her. Fed up, she dreams of exploring the entire world. She dreams of exploring uncharted territory, earning praise, meeting new people, and tasting new foods. Confused, she admits finding friends is possible. She's strong alone, but it's not easy. Ryu thought that she just wanted to be friends with them. Suddenly, Ryu calls Karina and asks her to look at her new ribbons that they had just picked out. You asked if she picked the ribbons and said they looked great. Korin asked if they were really cute. She asked the princess what she talked about with Ryu. The girl flinched, startled. The princess turned away, timidly mumbling nothing special. Ryu smiled, saying the princess wants to be friends, leaving the girl panicked and confused. She screamed, demanding who let him say that, as Korin stood there stunned. The fairy gasped, "Aren't they friends yet?" The princess was stunned. The princess asked for an explanation, so Karine told her they eat and train together. She excitedly asked if they were friends, but the princess snapped back a firm no. Karina loves her family but wants new friends. She asks the princess to join her, but the princess suddenly looks heartbroken. The princess recoiled, stunned by the question, desperate to explain. Ryu and Lior shared a smile. Ryu wanted to be friends while Lior sighed, admitting she was lonely too. Korin stayed calm, but the princess was on edge. The princess shouted her agreement, accepting their friendship and letting them use her name. Karin happily insists on picking a ribbon for a rake, but the shocked princess says she already has one. Smiling, she took the girl's hand, telling Okadi to join them as proof of their friendship. She asked the shocked girl if friends act like that, leaving a stunned Oka biting her lip. Oscar eagerly responded. Nearby, Ryu and Lur watched. Lur smiled, seeing their fun, and Ryu praised their fast friendship. Ryu asks Lur why she isn't buying anything. They have material money, so she shouldn't be shy. He offers her a stunning pendant, but Lur rejects it. The chains remind her of a collar. The girl sadly says she'll just hinder her in battle. The young man offers to treat her. Ryu suddenly turns, surprised. He scarves the liar. "How do you like this scarf?" Surprised, she asks if it's a scarf. Ryu says she can tie it to her arm instead since it matches Lear's black hair perfectly. Ryu offers to change the show if she dislikes it. Lur says it's fine. Suddenly, Lur smiles, genuinely thanking Ryu. As a group exits the store and the seller thanks them, the girls ask Ray their next stop. Liara wonders about other popular stores, but the princess suggests they follow her. She smiles, sure they'll love it, then suddenly freezes. Ryu asks what's wrong as the princess stares in shock. She looks up and spots a massive dragon grinning right at Ruse's group. A maid appears and Ryu recognizes Lady Tiamat. He asks what happened and she grimly warns they're in trouble. Lady Tiamat warns the dark dragon's seal is failing. He's breaking out early. Terrified, you ask what this means. Tiamat warns a breakthrough hits today, so they must gear up. A panicked Ryu asks if it's for real. Silence fell. Someone asked, "Is it starting?" You frowned. It was too abrupt, but no other way. He asks Tiamat to inspect the seal. She agrees, admitting that's exactly why she tracked them down. She suggests returning to the castle, then hitting the cave together. The cave wall cracks open, and a monster's tail whips across the floor. But the monster smiled, fire burning in its eyes, saying it would soon be free and fulfill its desires. The dragon soared through the clear sky. Lur knew the moment had arrived. Korin nodded and Ryu tensed up. He asked Lady Tiamat if the girl fought the dark dragon. Tiamat was shocked. Tiamat was too young to fight back then, but her relative was a total beast. Even Tiamat knows this dark dragon is deadly. He isn't sure he can handle it. Ryu tensed. Tiamat noticed. She told him to stop unnecessary thoughts. He's far from weak and has proven his worth. She tells him, if you can't trust yourself, trust me. Tiamat urged the young man, believe in your strength. Ryu, surprised, confidently agreed. The princess grabbed his head, declaring she'd try too, refusing to hog all the glory. Ryu replied he didn't need it. They arrive at a dark cave. Inside, wizards gather, casting spells to forge a magical seal. A man appears, greeting the wizards. One wizard calls him emperor. Ryu asked Tiamat about these people. She replied they were the Empire's sorcerers. They use magic to maintain the seal longer. The man warned the seal's breaking. Another mage added the dragon wakes in minutes. The emperor told the wizards he understood and they replied it was all on them. Suddenly, black liquid seeped through the stones. The seal shattered, shocking everyone. Even the emperor lost his cool while the mages stood stunned. The emperor ordered everyone to flee as the dragon broke free. Suddenly, the cave shook violently. Strange liquid leaked more from the crack. Suddenly, someone said they'd waited long for this day. Lur, Karin, and Ryu were shocked. Suddenly, a huge three-headed dragon appeared before them, its skin strangely patterned. He scanned the crowd and called out the draconids and fenrirs among them. The dragon spotted a human among them, questioning if the young man was a true hero. Confused, Ryu tried to deny being a hero, but the emperor instantly ordered his men to prepare for battle. Calling them annoying insects, the bored dragon unleashed a spell. He orders everyone to disperse, then a group emerges with magical seals. Men panicked and prepared to bolt, but Fenrir's draconites suddenly vanished, leaving Ryu stunned. Princess and Lear screamed for their parents, then Lear demanded the dragon reveal where he sent them. The monster warped them to another dimension. It wants a fight. All because they're his team. He laughs and demands they make him laugh again. A huge wolf smashed the stone wall, but the hole grew slowly. The man hit his limit. Grandma Lur sensed dragon magic built this place, and the girl felt its massive power. The emperor urged them to hurry since Lear was alone, but the man told his wolf to stay calm. They'd trained hard for this and were ready to win. As they plan their escape, a black snake suddenly slithers, making the blonde girl shout, "Watch out." He dodges the snake's attack. He spots many dark snakes crawling, which he calls creatures of darkness. Surrounded, they knew things couldn't get worse as the dark dragon lunged instantly. A huge black dragon siphoned magic from its seal, readying its spell. The man spat dark liquid, but the boy dodged instantly. Surprised, the dragon yelled. He dodged again. "Stop running, attack." Ryu shot back, no need to ask twice. He charged and struck, but Ryu was shocked when the dragon didn't dodge. It took the hit on purpose as a strange liquid pooled behind him. Tiamat warns Ryu to watch out. The enemy spawns monsters from blood. A black snake emerges. Tiamat warns Ryu not to attack blindly or he's finished. "You slayed the dark serpent and clicked your tongue," finally understanding Tiamat's words. Tiamat saw the dark dragon's power surge. A scratch now birthed dark creatures. One-shotting it was their only hope, or these monsters would overwhelm them, ensuring everyone's demise. Tiamat studied the boy, realizing they needed his strength now. The dragon charged magic, asking, "How do you like this?" then unleashed a powerful spell. Ryu swung his sword in his direction and wanted to say that they were still together, but he didn't have time to finish. Massive magic seals surrounded the dark dragon, paralyzing Ryu, Alika, Karin, and Lur with fear. Sea lions suddenly struck the Ryu's group powerfully. Shocked, the last guy knew they couldn't dodge. He just woke up. How is he this strong? The dragon asked what happened and if they came to kill him. Ryu knew inaction meant death, but attacking spawned more dark creatures. He was lost. Tiamat turns to Ryu, warning him not to rush but to carefully plan and give it his all. Tiamat knows Ryu's team is stronger but lacks experience, praying the emperor returns in time. Until then, she protects them. Suddenly, Princess Oka appears. One blow destroys the shadows. Smiling hand on heart, she asks everyone to give it. The dragon girl vows to kill him before he casts his spell, but Tiamat screams for Asuka to wait. Aluka transforms, but Ryu finds a tiny, adorable dragon, her true form. Oka charged the dragon, screaming it was over, as Lady Tiamat transformed into a dragon too. The dragon grinned, scoffing. He cast a spell, freezing the oaks midair. She noticed the black dragon use silent magic. Ryu, terrified, screamed Shotsuki. A powerful explosion erupted. Oka wipes her eyes, then snaps them open and freezes. She finds Tiamat's body, unconscious and seemingly lifeless. Ryu screams Tiamat's name, making Yuka tremble. The dark dragon mocks her sacrifice, calling it a foolish waste. He swatted Tiamat with his tail, shouting, "Get lost." Wonka instantly called her grandma, flying to her. Paralyzed by magic, Tiamat knows she has to get up now. Dark Dragon questions their heroism, claiming the last hero was superior. He laughs, daring them to make him laugh. Lur, Korin, and Ryu tense, unsure what's next. Black Snake lunges at Giant Wolf, but the wolf pins and crushes it. He warned the pack they were trampling them endlessly. The man sees disaster. They're late, so they must hurry. He needs a quick plan before time runs out. He orders Ryu and the others to hold. The huge black dragon praised his enemies and commanded them to attack. Oko desperately called out to her grandmother, begging her not to give up. Dark Dragon said removing obstacles would make you serious again. The main character shouted Ahak and Tiamat's names. The princess spun to see a magic attack incoming. Oha clings to Tiamat, eyes shut tight as a massive explosion erupts. Through the dust, she sees Ryu and Lefire, Ryu gripping his knife, tense and ready. Aka eyed the boy and girl fearfully. She tried to speak, but Ryu shouted, "Calm down." Ryu asks why she's here, and Osaka confesses her grandmother suffered because of her. Ryu warns, if the girl dies, Tiamat will cry her protection in vain. Ryu declared they were the final hope as Tiamat shielded them with everything. Odiko was stunned. Ryu smiled, proposing they team up. He called Alinka again, leaving her stunned. Tiamat woke up to speak, but Oka promised her grandmother she'd stop being reckless and not to worry. Oka joined Lur, Karin, and Ryu to fight together. Everyone was dead serious. Dark Dragon laughed at their pathetic struggle and demanded they show their true power. He extends his hand, glowing with magical seals. The Ryus group charges the Dark Dragon. You dodged the monster's attacks. Korin stood by the dragon, ready to strike, blasting a powerful energy stream into its side. The Dark Dragon triggers the seal again, smirking as he mocks her fire magic. He snaps his fingers, vowing to finish her first as he begins his spell. A magical seal erupts beneath the girl, unleashing huge dark tentacles. She notices them and Ryu yells a warning to Karin. She dodged and flew away, but the dark tentacles still caught her. The tentacle lunged for Karin's leg, but Liara sliced it away, saving her life. Lur landed, checking on Korin, who happily agreed and thanked her sister for the rescue. Black Dragon smirked and prepared to strike. Ryu and Odoka charged the beast as Okusha vowed to stop him. Dark Dragon conjured a magical seal, deflecting Ryu and Oki's attack. Dark Dragon mocked their futile strike and swung wide as Ovika and Ryu dodged. Ryu and Agoka leapt back serious. Ryu's mind blanked, nerves shot. Tiamat warned Ryu never fall for its spell. Normal attacks fail and dark creatures crawl from its wounds. He has no clue how to win. Karin and Lur distract the dragon as Orinka returns. Ryu recalls his TMI training while watching Lyra fight, spotting the beast's weak point. The black dragon smiled, dust swirling around him. Ryu realized, watching the dragon closely. He wondered, what if magical reading worked? The black dragon's tail ornament suddenly glowed, terrifying Ryu as he watched the dragon activate the seals. A magic seal appears, but Lur dodges. Oka attacks. Impossible. If true, he has no choice. He grabs a pen, mentally asking Lyra and Korin a question. He reveals his plan. Lur and Karin are stunned, asking what he means. Lur warns failure means grave danger, questioning if he grasps the risk. Ryu's confident they can handle anything together and protect the guy, no matter what. Lur and Karen are stunned, but Ryu trusts them to launch the plan. Lur grits her teeth, understands, and suggests action. Karin replies she'll try too. Akka will try. Ryu suddenly interrupts, demanding Oku to listen. The dragon challenges their decision, doubting his permission, then activates a magical seal, warning things aren't as they think before casting a spell. Lur leaps next to the black dragon. The dragon realizes Lur broke the spell. He smirks, calling the dog fast but helpless midair, then fires his magic seal straight at the liars. A magic stream erupts, swallowing the dark dragon whole. Surprised, the dragon asked if they only used the guardian's fire. He scanned the area, grinned, and called them fools for doing him a favor. He looks up as Oraka appears from nowhere, charging the dark dragon. Akka slams into the black dragon, stunned and confused why his gear fire failed. He stares at Odik, certain only bones should remain. He spots a protective feather in her mouth. Ryu once sought Oska's help and Astrid swiped Karin's pen, granting Oska fire immunity. With the feather guarding him, Oska's in. Ryu warns Yuhuzi the dark dragon's magic is deadly, but they just have to stop him from using it. He revealed his magic source. Tapping the ground, the dark dragon found it interesting and asked if they'd really attack again. The dragon grins, promising to send her to his grandmother, and activates a magic seal. Oka just smirks, calling him the real fool. Sharp pain hits the black dragon. He turns to see his tail severed. At that moment, Lur cut off the tail of the dark dragon with her sharp claws. Ryu explained that the source of the dark dragon's magic is located in its tail. Realizing it was a setup, the dark dragon laughed and asked if they really thought they could steal his magic. The severed tail changes, countless dark snakes burst from it. The dark dragon directs them, saying his creatures will deal with them. Laughing, he told them to advance and ordered Ryu's team to fire him up. He forces them to fight harder at their limit. This is what he wanted. Black Dragon snaps his head around, realizing one of them is gone. He remembers Ryu, realizing the hero isn't here. Lyra strikes the black dragon, but it dodges. Suspecting Ryu's plan, the beast roars for the hero to show himself. Ryu materializes behind the liar, smiles, and his sword ignites. Black Dragon sees the shining sword's magic. He'd been accumulating magic. The dark dragon smiles. He's found what he sought for ages, a true hero. Ryu screams threats, charges the dragon. His sword hits the dragon, triggering a massive explosion. Sudden gale nearly blasts Karen and Lyra off their feet. Alaka sees a massive smoke plume after the explosion, trying to spot the main character and dragon. Dust clears, revealing a dark figure unconscious but alive. Oka, Lur, and Karina watched it all. Ryu eyed the dark dragon's body, asking if they'd won. He sees the dark dragon's head is lifeless. Suddenly, it hits him. Ryu turns to see Lur, Karina, and Oka nearby. The girls rush to the young man, joyfully announcing their win as everyone cheered. "We defeated the dark dragon." Otaku marched up to Tiamat and shouted she'd help. Suddenly, the dark dragon's lips twitch and its body shifts. The dark dragon praised his insane strength as Ryu finally took him down. He asks what reward you want. The dragon calls him a hero, saying his magic is enough. Ryu doubts the dragon's peace, telling the dark dragon he didn't fight for reward. Ryu asks the dragon its true goal and why it craves this fight. Dark dragon lay defeated. He only wanted a strong opponent. He wanted to test his strength, needing a worthy opponent among the many competitors gathered here. No one lasted long, and the dark dragon realized only a true hero was his equal. Everyone, even heroes, feared him, so they imprisoned him. Ru, Lear, Oka, and Ryu were stunned as the dying dragon revealed it only wanted a worthy rival. He calls power a curse, leaving the boy stunned by the dragon's words. His stronger friends left on a journey. Unable to fight, Ryu stayed in the village, tasked with caring for the animals as they said goodbye. Ryu clenched his fist, sensing the dark dragon's loneliness. The black dragon demanded the young man state his wish. If he had no wish, the dragon asked to die. "You interrupt, your decision is made." He smiles, addresses the dragon of darkness, points to himself, and offers friendship. Lur, Oka, Karin stunned, even the dark dragon surprised. Lur demanded what Ryu carried, the dark dragon demanded what he meant. Ryu understood him better than anyone. Despite his power, the dark dragon was incredibly lonely. Ryu clutched his chest in sadness. Lur and Karin sadly eyed Ryu. He approached the dragon, declaring their victory. Ryu reaches for the downed dragon, calling them equals and offering friendship. Ryu smiles, asks the dark dragon for his wish. The dragon, surprised and silent, poised to respond, but Osaka interrupts, declaring her opposition. Oscar claims the black dragon killed many and injured her grandmother. She refuses to befriend such a creature. "Forgive him, he'll kill again." She points at the nearby dragon head. Ru heard his story, understood. The dark dragon wouldn't kill. Oka was about to speak, but Tiamat interrupted. "The dark dragon is dead and her magic has vanished." Odeka cheers, diving into her grandmother's arms. Ryu says the monster world, only the strongest survive, so Ryu must decide. "You said if the dark dragon turns evil, they'll win. They beat him once, they'll do it again." He asks Yuko if she doubts him, and she instantly tenses up. She remembers every moment with Ryu. Oka turns away, agreeing just this once, but warns that any failure is on him. Ryu thanks her. Ryu demands an answer, but the dragon laughs at his bizarre wish. He agrees to heal the boy. His hand glows as the dragon points at him. The dark dragon declares it proof of their friendship. A bright light then pierces the boy's body. Ryu froze. The dark dragon revealed it left part of its soul in him, then vanished, promising a quick reunion, leaving Ryu awestruck. The boy collapsed. Lur rushed to him. Ryu wakes up in a girl's lap, realizing he passed out. He asks where he is, and she's relieved he's finally awake. Ryu spots why are surprised. She smiles. Ryu asks if she's truly awake after their long separation. The girl regained her strength. Replies she recovered but can only speak to him in this world. Ryu warned the kid he was too reckless, clearly stunned. Birdes warns that between dragon fights and training, the kid is constantly cheating death. His drive for power is getting too reckless. For training's secret, gave him strength. The main character understood, promising to be more careful. Smiled, glad to hear that. Ryu says the dark dragon sealed its soul inside this. Or she agrees the egg's that way, pointing right at it. Ryu stared at the egg, asking if it was truly his dark dragon soul. It was beautiful. The man smiled, revealing the dragon of darkness wasn't always evil. Once a curious golden dragon, forbidden magic turned him into a beast of darkness. He looked ordinary, but his soul was pure power. Ryu got it. Called him kind, then smiled. He thinks Ryu spared the dark dragon since Yura's a dragon. Ryu refuses to kill her. She replies that's why she likes him. Takes an egg and says that they will return to this topic later. She asks you to take a closer look. The young man is surprised when he sees a small dragon inside the egg. Explains that this dragon inside the egg is regenerating its body. Did they ask if he'd ever live, or just reassure the boy she'd handle the dragon? She told Ryu it was time to say goodbye, but he hesitated, wanting to object. He asked when could leave the young man's body. Gasped. Ryu pitied Yura for her long isolation, but she insisted she wasn't lonely. Ryu feels cozy and safe, so she tells him not to worry. He asks if becoming the demon lord lets the girl escape, and Urgates trembles in terror. She says she can escape. Ray's happy, but she tells him not to bother. The demon lord, a powerful monster controlling demons, warns Ryu not to become like her, then ends their talk. Ryu tells her to stop. Or she smiles sadly, promising to talk later. He calls her, but she doesn't hear. Ryu finally wakes up to everyone surrounding his bed, and Mrs. Tiamat is relieved he's safe. Ryu asks where they are, so Lur explains their grandparents found them after he collapsed and brought them back to the castle. Ryu realizes he blacked out and thanks the group for the save. Tiamat says the boy isn't fully recovered, needs rest. Lur tells him to call her immediately if he feels unwell. He agrees, telling the girls to rest too. Ryu's left alone, glad Yura's okay. She forcefully expelled him from the dream, but he doesn't get why he can't master demons. Yura realized her plan was working. If Ryu became the demon lord, she'd escape, but he'd be left alone after sacrificing all his friends. Recalling Ryu, she wonders if the MC can handle it. The city celebrated, everyone ate, drank, danced, and sang. They celebrated the Dark Dragon's fall, drinking deep and hailing the Dragon Emperor and Lord Ryu. Lur approached Ryu, smiling, and said he was popular now. Ryu agreed, adding the city no longer cut him slack. Ryu, Karin, and Lear reach the palace where Emperor Aishin thanks them, admitting the evil dragon only fell because of their power. The Emperor offered a reward, but a terrified Ryu claimed it wasn't worth it. Emperor smiles, tells the young man not to be shy. He can't let them leave unrewarded, so ask for anything. Despite the Emperor's offer, Ryu is clueless and has no idea what to ask for. Ryu asks what he can claim. The Emperor offers anything: treasures, artifacts, or a home in the palace. Ryu ponders, but Tiamat interrupts with a smile and a new reward idea. She asks him why he didn't pick her as a reward. The girl smiles. Ryu, Agaka, Lur, and Karin are shocked, asking what she means. Lur asks if Tiamat wants to be his wife. Karin asks if Tiamat will marry Dad. Oka wonders what grandma means. You laugh nervously, sure the Emperor will refuse, but the royal couple calmly says they don't mind. The Emperor asks if Ryu wants a dragon wife. Ryu freezes as his friends crowd around him. Terrified, the boy asks why she's doing this, while Tiamat covers her mouth, stunned by her own words. The Emperor suddenly asked if he truly hated the proposal. The Emperor asks if Ryu accepts Lady Tiamat's terms. Ryu asks the Emperor, surprised, about claws. The Emperor explains dragon claws and scales forge powerful weapons and armor, upgrading their gear. But the boy has other plans. He tells the Emperor everything's fine and turns to Lady Tiamat, who laughs nervously. The Emperor promises the boy the dragon's seal. While he prepares, they rest, and Orica finally sighs in relief. Ryu, Lur, and Karin hone sword skills. Lear checks on him as he wipes his brow. Lear suggests rest, but you insist he keep training. Ryu saw the dark dragon hadn't recovered. Luckily, Yura cares for him. He must get stronger to match the heroes. Orica hands Ryu a bottle and towel, ordering Joyous to take them. The girl asks if he trains so much, admitting it's all she can help with. He thanks her as she watches Ryu wipe his sweat. Ryu asks what happened. She replies everything's fine, then asks what he'll do with the award. Ryu will find his friends later, asking Alaka what she wants. Nervous, Oka asks to join him and his crew. Ryu asks what the Emperor thinks. Aka calms him. Her father let her tell the world. Together he'll allow it, and she wishes she could join them. Surprised, Ryu remembered her dream to travel. Oka felt like a princess bound to her country, unable to flee despite her desires. Suddenly, Karin spoke. Karin happily agrees to travel together, but Lur shuts her down. Everyone fell silent. Ryu confirmed it was correct, adding big decisions aren't made alone. Ashika stayed silent. Ryu patted the girl's head, telling her not to worry, they'd go with her. Raya smiles, assuring he'll get the Emperor's permission, and asks her to trust him. Beaming, she clenched her fists and asked if it was true. Nearing the Emperor, a man stopped them. The Emperor summoned them to the throne room. Inside the throne room, the Emperor whips a cloth off a massive table, revealing the boy's reward. 5 claws sat on the table, stunning Ryu. The Emperor explained Tiamat's warning. Every claw has a unique power, so they brought options. Land dragon has strong claws, water dragons are flexible and beautiful, air dragons light and sharp. The Emperor added special conditions and let the boy pick his favorite. Ryu scans the contracts, but with so many types, he has no clue which to pick. He spots a claw and likes it. The claw feels instantly special and comfortable. The Emperor smiles, you have a diamond eye. He reveals the claw belongs to Tiamat. A stunned Ryu questions the link, but the Emperor calls it fate. The student chose his teacher's claw. Embarrassed, Tiamat begs him to stop. The Emperor snaps his fingers with a better plan. Ryu should take Tiamat along. Both are left stunned. Osaka, Karin, and Lur are stunned. The Emperor asks Tiamat about training with Ryu, but she refuses, choosing to care for Lady Oke instead. Ryu notices Utsuku, very anxious and tightly gripping her dress. Ryu smiled, nodding. The girl clenched her fist. Osuka stomped her heel, telling her family she'd travel with Ryu if Grandma refused. She's been planning this for ages. She wants to see the world's wonders firsthand, and no one will stop her. Oka bows, asking his grandmother and father for trip permission. Suddenly, whispers erupted. Mrs. Avica is just a child and it's too dangerous. The Emperor understands her feelings but says she's too young and must wait. Tiamat immediately objects. Oka bravely crushed the dark dragon. Tiamat believes Oka's finally ready. She's by your side and he's strong enough to handle anything. She demands Uku's release. Her grandmother's words stun her, but Tiamat gives the boy one condition. She orders Ryu to protect Oku on the journey. If Oku is harmed, scholars will punish him, sparking an international scandal. She asks him if he'll take responsibility for Oka. Grandma's deadly serious. Oka says Ryu doesn't need to agree, she can defend herself, but Tiamat recalls Oka said different in an old interview. She checks back, claiming if he can't protect her, he can't give consent, so he counters with a question. Ryu orders, then promises honesty he can't keep. He can't guarantee Okinawa's safety. The girl is scared. Ryu promised he'd help her if anything happened, not for her title but as friends. They ask Tiamat to let Aketsu travel with friends. Ryu bows. His Tiamat frowned, then smiled. She asked if Ryu was really the princess's friend. Startled, Ryu quickly confirmed it. Tiamat demands the Emperor's answer. Will he let Orica leave? The Emperor smiled, unable to refuse his benefactors, and allowed Ohinets to journey. Oki's fist trembles and the girl rejoices, saying she'll tell the world. Ryu tells Oha he's happy. Oha thanks Ryu. Mrs. Tiamat interrupts with one condition. She's joining the squad. Ryu and Oka stare in shock as Tiamat reveals she never said they couldn't go alone. Hemet warns that trouble abroad risks global war and endangers Mr. Ryu. Tiamat asked for understanding. Lear didn't mind and Karina found it even more interesting. Everyone demands answers, but Alpaca says she's finally free. The Emperor laughs and shuts her down. Before leaving, the Emperor wants to talk, revealing a request for the young man, prompting a surprised Ryu to ask what he wants. The Emperor asks to visit the Elven village. Elforest teams with spirits. He just got a message from their king. He asks Ryu for help with a vital task. Ryu's surprised, asking if he really needs her help. The Emperor agrees, demanding the dragon's power as word of its death spreads fast. Elves are being kidnapped, and he wants all poachers caught. They trap spirits and sell elves into service. He struggles with crowds, so he asks the young man for help. Ryu understands he's a person too. Ryu turned to a man he hated for help, but feared how others would react. Girls ask Ryu to show his signature move. Lee says everyone agrees. Oka asks if this is travel's best part, a young guy doing what he wants. Ryu agreed to visit the elf village, and the Emperor was thrilled he'd reached out for help. Ryu must speak with the Spirit King, but the Emperor sent the elf elder to speak for him. The elf village sits south of the Great Forest. Ryu understood and they departed. Emperor Yuke wants her to enjoy the journey. Mom wished her good luck. Oka smiled and waved her parents off, telling the group they'd left as everyone cheered. In the Great Forest south, a Ryuzu group pushed through dense thickets. Ryuzu found walking tough due to roots. Tiamat explained many large trees grew there. They're nearing the elven village where things get easier. Ryu nods, telling the guys they're almost there. He sees Agunka breathless and upset. She claims she's fine, gasping for air. Tiamat barked at them to move, warning that they'd never arrive at this pace. She ordered the princess to treat this as training and go all out. Ryoko was annoyed and Ryu struggled. Ryu found himself in this forest for the first time. Tiamat said everything was fine. His spirits shielded the village, making it impossible to find. Lur added they couldn't reach it. Spirits guard the barrier. Introduce yourself to enter. Ruzer smiled at their progress, but the boy suddenly glanced aside in shock. A young man's spirit appeared. Ryu was thrilled, but Korin noted it was their first sighting. Ryu asked why the spirit came. It just pointed the way and took off. Ray hesitated, unsure whether to follow or what happened. They couldn't grasp where the spirit vanished so fast. Tiamat was confused, but they left the village anyway. Suddenly, a voice called out to him. Suddenly they're ambushed, leaving even Lur and Ryu shaken. A massive spider swarm appeared, and Tiamat identified them as forest spiders. Spiders swarmed from nowhere. Korin told the young man to look away as they attacked. Ryu insisted on helping them. They shredded the spider swarm. A spider attacked the terrified boy who fainted. Ryu checked him. Lur confirmed he'd only passed out. Tiamat added no serious injuries. The spirit flew up to the man. Ryu explained why he brought them. Then, a noise from the cart. Someone called for help. Caged elves begged the young man for release. Liara and Ryu were stunned by the cart's elves. Once free, the elves thanked him, but Ryu refused a reward. He introduced himself as the Spirit King's messenger, and Agaka accepted him. Ryu says the spirit brought them here. The stunned elf spots it, but the spirit smiles and signals for silence. After a while, people wake up confused, already attacked by forest spiders. They fled, shouting, "Forget the elves, save yourselves." They just fled, no thought. Suddenly, you spot something on the ground. He sees a sword, its emblem on every other item. Tiamat's never seen this before. They're all part of one massive group. Even aristocrats might join this organization, but Ryu's knows nothing more. They head to the village, needing to talk to the Spirit King and escort the elves home. Trekking through the dense forest, Ryu recalls the captives, 4 women and 2 children. Even kids weren't spared, and he dreads their dark fate. Quickly stop these poachers and protect the elves and spirits. Elf says they're almost there. Cut through the bushes and they're home. Ryu, surprised, realizes it's an elven village. A spirit flies off. Ryu waves goodbye. An elf runs up, calling the elven girl Helen. He scoops her up, relieved she's safe. She winces, but the elf was terrified when she was snatched. Now it's clear they're family. Helen points to a young man, saying he saved them. The man bows, thanking you for saving Helen. Ryu replies, no need to thank him, he just helped. Helen tells her grandfather the King of Spirits sent them. He verifies it, then guesses the young man is Mr. Ryu. The man clears his throat, introducing himself as village elder Alrise Solon. Beside him stands his granddaughter Helen. Ryu surprised this man's an elder, looking no older than 20. 2 elves even age. I lead them to the Spirit King, telling them to follow. They approach the round table house. People already sit, just one chair open. The elder tells the Lord Ryu has arrived to save their people. Ryu asks for the plan. The elder nods. Traitors snatched their kin for the ministry, but he has a plan, and Ryu wants the details. The elder elf said they'd raid wealthy homes that bought their brothers, save all elves and spirits, and punish the wicked. Ryu demanded answers, shocked by the simple plan, while a stunned Lur and Tiamat watched in awe. Lur whispered to Ryu, is he joking? But Ryu doubted it. Korin called it a great idea, and Valka agreed, ready to set off and crush everyone. Mid-rush, Ruse grabbed their shoulders, stopping them cold. He warned it was too risky. How would they find the elves? Why not raid the forbidden markets instead? The elf reports the scouts are missing. Ryu warns that attacking nobles will bring revenge to the village. They needed to rethink, but the elf slammed the table, yelling they were out of time. Their relatives suffer from these cruel people. They endure this torment, hoping for rescue, but can't wait long. The elves backed the performer. Seeing their struggle, you realized why they were in such a rush. They want to save the elves and spirits quickly. Ryu presses her lips, needing to think it over first. Blind attacks kill elves and waste time, doing more harm than good. The elder demands a better plan. Ryu vows to the elves he'll bear the burden. He hits the black market disguised as a buyer, shocking the elves. Ryu says that when he starts selling, he will be able to find out the necessary information. Perhaps he will even buy something from it right away. The elder asked if it wasn't too risky. Okaz said that's all, but he had no clue how much cash the kid needed. Ryu needs to earn the cash, so he'll hunt the great forest and sell the loot. He's still got 60 gold coins left from the Dwarf Kingdom. He asks the elder about dangerous monsters seeking profit from them. The elder replies, many spiders infest these woods. They appeared in the forest, multiplying fast, and people suffered greatly. Tiamat warned him, remember the defeated monsters. Ryu agreed, promising it'd be fine. Raising his hand, he launches the mission to rescue the elves at all costs. Deep in the forest, a spirit flies to another, leaving him in total shock. The spirit asked where he'd been after searching for ages. He apologized, wanting to know him better, but warned that running away again leads to trouble. He asked the spirit how it felt. The cloaked Spirit King instantly recognized Ryu's unique nature. He's sure Ryu can save their village. He adds Ryu, though a mentor, is brave and kind. The spiritual king met someone. They wanted a world where humans and spirits coexisted. He agreed, suggesting a contract for spirit power as it greatly helps people. Spirit asks their benefit, man explains everything now. He says people forgot the spirit's gifts, treating them like mere workers when they could change everything. Reading the letter, the Spirit King realized he was the only one who still believed. Soon Ryu killed a few spiders, declaring it enough. The elf doubts they'll sell, but Ryu says the threads make great clothes. As they head for the principality, an elder suddenly stops Ryu. The elder asked the boy to help their brothers. His daughter was among the kidnapped. Ryu, shocked, confirmed the elder's daughter was truly taken. The elder replied many were taken, children, adults, even orphans. He treasures them all. The elves bow, begging your team to get them home. He agrees. The man digs into his pocket, telling him to take it. He hands Ryu a package. It's a letter from the Spirit King for the principality's ruler, but Ryu asks which one he means. Ryu asks about the letter. The elder tells him to just deliver it. Ryu agrees, unsure he'll meet the person but promises to try. The elder thanks Ryu's group. Ryu's team departs as the elves grant them the Spirit King's blessing. The girls ask about Iraq. Ryu tells Karin it's more relaxed than other countries, they don't even check for entry cards. Tiamat replied their principality also had spirit blessings. Oka, shocked, asked if they truly sold kidnapped elves and spirits. Tiamat said it was likely someone's scheme. First, gather intel, have them talk to people while selling the guild spiders. They reach the city, but Ryu doubts it's Ifruk, seeing nothing special. They enter the guild and it's eerily quiet and lifeless. The boy pulls out spiders to sell, grabs the cash and counts it. Ray thanked him, feeling a sense of déjà vu. He confirmed the money arrived, then suddenly someone called him. It was Mac. Long time no see, he said, hearing about the rare material sale. He came to look, figuring Ryu was the seller. Ryu was surprised. Aorka questioned Ryu's mechanical skills, and Ryu confirmed they met in the land of dwarves. Max couldn't believe he met Ryu. He didn't expect him during this tense period. Ryu, surprised, asked what difficult period Max meant. Max reveals the ruler is sick, leaving Ryu in total shock. Matt reveals that in this land, whoever pacts with the Spirit King rules. But no one can sign the contract, so everyone's worried. Ryu understood, questioning the Spirit King's link to the ruler. Does the letter reveal a future heir? Max asked why he was here. The young man was surprised but couldn't tell him he came to save the elves. Ryu hunts for missing villagers, leaving Max stunned by his kindness. Ryu presses the guy for info on servants here. Max shrugs it off, mentioning a local dark guild called the Black Wolves that deals in illegal goods. The boy remembered someone tied to the guild. Ryu, surprised, asked if it was true. Max warned the Ryu group made contact impossible. A shocked Ryu demanded answers. Max said traders with banned goods get spotted by their looks, easily mistaken for poor. Aryas understood. NAC promises to deliver expensive clothes once they get them, but they can't help with anything else. You thank them again. The boy waved goodbye. The girls worried, asking if he'd be all right. Karin complained it was uncomfortable, but Orica insisted it looked great. Tiamat warned them to act like aristocrats and watch their mouths. The heroes wore beautiful, expensive clothing. Ryu reassures the girls and orders a retry. He's the dad, Tiamat's the wife, and Karin and Olteka are their daughters. He's about to declare Lur's role, but she shrieked, asking why she'd be an animal. Ryu explained hiding her tail and ears was impossible, so the group agreed to visit the forbidden merchants for help. The butler approached, asking if they were new. Ryu confirmed Max sent him, and the butler understood immediately. The man asked which servant Ryu wanted. Ryu froze, he hadn't even planned on buying anyone. Lady Tiamat interrupted, demanding he perform his duties and look attractive, then asked about their servants. The man leads them to see his goods. Ryu looks to Tiamat and she nods. They went down the stairs. Ryu asked about their servants. He replied they had many. Buried in debt, this former adventurer is confident he'll fix everything. Valka whispers it's disgusting, but Ryu tells her to be quiet. The band still has half humans, so Ray asks if they're available. The man confirmed it, asking if they're interested and offering to show them everything. The man offered dogs or cats, but Ryu stunned him by asking for an elf. He asked Tiamat if he said something wrong. Tiamat replied he might be guessing. He said he was sorry. He revealed they had no elves. Ryu gasped. They reached the room. The man explains elves are valuable, sold only at auction. Ryu knew no other traders had them, and the man confirmed auctions pay way more. Money usually solves everything, but auctions are different. The highest bidder wins, and these elves will cost a fortune. He needs their location fast. Ryu demands the auction site, but the man refuses to talk. Ryu offers gold coins, asking the man about elves. The man is shocked. The man hands over an auction list and demands secrecy. It's mostly women and children. The Dark Guild's been busy. Ryu heard they just captured a group of elves. Ryu realizes many are held here, so freeing them all requires extreme caution. Ryu spots Vera Ray Solon and points. The man praises his excellent taste. In 3 days she's sold at auction, and the elder begged you to save his daughter. He spots her last name, she's the elder's daughter. TM warns the auction is starting and Ray agrees they must move. Ryu senses treasure is coming and asks why elves are so valuable. The man plays dumb until Ryu drops more gold, making him spill everything. Dark Guild rumors say spirits follow every elf, making the elf just a bonus. Ryu's dying to know what that means. He asks about you, knowing the ruler is ill. Everyone seeks a deal with the spirit, elves are needed. Spirits always stay near elves. Hearing this, he finally understood. Ryu remembers the elf's words, their kin still suffer, they begged him for help. Staring at the man, he realizes elves are broken by grief and hunted for sport like objects. Ryu was fuming. Korin saw his dad's fury and Orica felt his raw rage. The man offered Ryu more help, but Ryu said he had enough. He asked who was behind it, but the man had no answers. Ryu thanked the man for the intel and headed out, promising to buy something next time as the man agreed to wait. Lur couldn't believe elves were kidnapped for cash. Korin agreed this life was terrible. Lur asked Ryu if he was okay, he replied he was fine. He vowed to save all elves, hating how people treat others as things. Lur and Karen backed him. Ryu needs more info to find the captives and the mastermind. Tiamat has the kids change to blend in. Ryu agrees and they stash their gear here. He's got more questions, but as he pops the pod open, he's stunned by what's inside. Inside, a child nervously laughed, greeting Ryu. Everyone gasped. The child greeted Ryu, calmly closing the pot lid. The kid screamed, demanding to know why he was there, but he quickly apologized for intruding. She insists this isn't her home and she's no child. She's Alice, a 19-year-old informant from Earth. Alice told him not to underestimate her. Ryu joked she looked like a child. Ryu spoke about the Land of Light, calling it his home. Alice, surprised, asked if he was from there. Tiamat asked about the Land of Light, questioning if the church truly rules it all. Oka asked about the church. Ryu explained people get professions here, a massive priest organization. Alice said everything is fine, so she came to help their hero. Surprised, Ryu asked if they knew Chikia. Alice confirmed Chikia is a hero who gathers intel, but their squad is separate from the main hero group. Since they're from the same city, she asks for a favor and Ryu demands details. She says illegal trade thrives here and must stop. Ryu realizes Alice shares their goal. Alice already knows how they arrived in the city to save the servants. They disguised as wealthy and snuck into the forbidden goods merchant. She has the intel they need, but will they help her free the servants? Ryu paused, then asked the girl to let him uncover the truth. If Alice is intel, why not free the servants? She gathers info easily but can't fight. She tried the auction once, but they threw her out. Ryu asked, so she sought Pov's help. Alice agreed, adding excessive spirit hunting is a problem. Humans wield elemental magic through an ancient pact with the Spirit King. His outburst could end the conflict, then they lose their magic and must fight monsters alone. Ryu fears the hero could lose his powers too. Alice begs Ryu for help, vowing repayment because she must complete this task or never face the hero. Ryu agrees. Lur notes the MC hates monsters, so their help is no big deal. Ryu decides not to approach the hero yet, he needs more info. He invites Lyra to talk. Alice is from another group, her data could help them avoid the hero. Tiamat insists this is better, believing it resolves everything. Ryu offers help but demands info in return. Alice confirms, thanks him, and will contact the team. The girl went silent. Karin questioned her, but Ryu revealed it's a magic artifact mirroring their connection. With permission, Alice invites everyone to the room, leading the way. She trips and Ryu doubts she's actually from the recon unit. Later they returned, Alice telling the captain they'd arrived. He replied they'd been waiting. Another group neared Ryu's. A man thanked them for helping Alice.